Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lex out here, and it's Thursday, and we had a big snowstorm here in Ontario last night. There's a bunch of crazy snow on the ground. All kinds of stuff happened yesterday, and we got a lot to cover. Two games to react to, and we got a preview 9:05 game later today at 7:30. It'll be the second game against the Cleveland Charge of two games in a back-to-back in a row. Of course, the 9:05 won the first game of the battle yesterday. And that was awesome. That was a really fun game. The game last night, not so fun. Not so fun. In fact, I would like to say that the good vibes from the Philadelphia game, the game before, were the how we should have felt last night. But no, you put Cleveland against us this year, it's a scheduled loss because they're just like that. It started right from the beginning of the season with the first game of the year. They're a very, very good team. They're a very, 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 very good team. They're coached well, and their starting lineup is top notch. And they took it to us in the first quarter last night and played almost perfectly, honestly. There's no slouch in that. You know, certain teams with certain levels of talent and certain strengths, if they're playing at a very high efficiency, they're very, very, very tough to beat. And that means you need to have stuff to match them with those categories. And some of the things we were outmatched on against the Cavaliers last night were height, veteran experience, and also, I hate to say it, talent level. Well, when you look at the end of the bench and you see our starting center, Jakob Pertl, sitting over there, well, it's not the regular Raptors. You look down at the end of the bench and you see the newly acquired Brandon Ingram, who hasn't even played a game for us yet. Well, it's not the real Raptors yet. And we don't even know who the real Raptors are yet because we haven't seen Brandon play. So there's a lot of reasons why this game went the way it did. You know, the Raptors in some ways were very happy that, we kept up with them for three quarters is what Darko said after the game. We kept up with them for the second, the third, and the fourth quarter, even with them pretty much. It's just the first quarter was a debacle, a 17-point output for the Raptors. Meanwhile, the other team got like 40 points. What can you do? Well, you start bad, and the other team is humming. Max Strus comes out and bombs 4 threes in like the first 5 minutes of the game. It's a tough, tough team to beat. And they do have a lot of outside firepower coupled with two very tall centers that make it hard to score near the basket. So there's a recipe for disaster in a couple different ways here. Last night was a disrespectful night towards Toronto in a couple ways. And we're going to talk about those reasons and why. We'll talk about those. But yeah, let's get into it. Let me do the preview for the 9:05 game tonight first. Of course, this will be the same team we saw yesterday that we beat, and they're going to adjust. They're going to try and do different things. It'd be interesting to see if possibly Jamison Battle and some of the rookies actually go to 9:05 and play in this game just to get one more game of rep before the break. I think it'd be smart, Raptors organization, if you sent Mobo, Battle, Walter, Shed, even all of the J-Rooks to Mississauga to play this Cleveland game tonight to bolster them on the second day of a back-to-back. I know they played yesterday and last night, but I'm just saying, why not? Shamshay will be available tonight. So why won't we get some extra reps for these guys going out? I know some of them that'll mean 3 days in a row, and that they don't maybe not want to do that. Philadelphia last night against Cleveland, and then against the Cleveland Charge in Mississauga. So it's not likely they'll make any of the J-Rooks play tonight, but I wish they would. But I will say this about the Raptors 9:05 roster. Even without the J-Rooks, it's a really good team. And I'm really, really happy with the work Luke Wynn has done this season. I'm very, very impressed with 9:05 this year. I feel like last year was such a dismal disappointment. Eric Curry is just an absolute fail. And honestly, the roster decisions and roster movements between the Raptors and Raptors 9:05 did not make any fucking sense to me in the last couple of years of Nick Nurse being around our team. And even last year. Well, I feel like this year, the synergy between 9:05 and the Raptors is much, much better. Now, the Raptors have really needed to take the really good rookies and play them because they're in our rotation on the main team. But the 9:05 could have really used them, and it would have been awesome. But Luke Wynn has done some fantastic acquiring of great talent with people like Frank Kaminsky, Eugene Omoruyi, Jared Roden, and those kind of guys being on this team, so that they're very capable even without the J rookies around. I love that. I love that so much. We're going to react to the games in a second, but let me do the preview for the referees for the 9:05 game at Mississauga. 7:30 tip-off tonight, guys. I'll be in the YouTube chat. JD Rawls is the crew chief. JD Rawls got graduated to a full-time NBA ref, but he does do G League games here and there still. He's number 91, 94. He's in his first season out of Baltimore, Maryland as a main NBA ref. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie The Forge. His favorite musician's Anthony Hamilton. His favorite book is Die with Zero. He likes to eat shrimp pasta. His favorite app is the Bible. He most like to visit the Maldives, and his hidden talent is sign language. Yeah, JD Rawls is in his first season as an NBA staff official. As a non-staff official, he officiated 3 regular season games in the 2022 NBA season, 6 regular season games in 2023 season, and 8 regular season games in the 2024 season. So he had done little bits of games here and there in the years leading up to getting full-time ref status with the NBA. So we have a full-time ref as the crew chief for the 905 G League game tonight. The other 2 refs are refs that refed yesterday and are reffing again today. That's Gina Catanzariti and Bobby Bazant, the third. Those were the 2 backup refs yesterday. Chalisa Painter moved on to Motor City, and she will be refereeing there tonight instead of she was the other ref yesterday, but she's changed out for JD Rawls. So there's your ref report. Not that it really matters. G League, I don't really look at the proclivities of the referees and tell you the splits. But, it seems like it's a pretty good crew. Gina was a little confused yesterday. There were a couple of things that happened in the G League game yesterday where they took a long time to try and figure things out. There was one call with an offensive charge that was not actually an offensive charge because the charge player was not set in his feet when he took the charge, but they called an offensive charge at that point, but it wasn't true. It was Omaroi. That's why. Canadian Draymond is like a freight train, a freight truck, a Mack truck, out of control when he's driving to the basket. And this guy did not have his foot set. He was stepping kind of lightly to the side. And I called it out in the stream. I said, look, y'all, this is a great challenge by Andrew Jones. He's going to win this challenge. I said it immediately as it happened because the man was not set, and that's the rules. And while Gina and Chalisa and Bobby looked at it for a long time, and they finally got the call right, much to the delight of the school day children packed arena of the screaming fans singing Old Town Road. They were singing Old Town Road in the middle of the game. They were fun, man. Those kids are all right. That's what I got to say about that. But they got the call correct, and they called it the right way. But they took a long time, Gina and Chalisa and Bobby, on that adjudication. So, yeah, we're going to play the charge again. Hopefully we can sweep them and get the back-to-back W's against the Cleveland G League team. I'm not going to beat their main team, but, yeah, let's beat their G League team at least. 7:30 tip-off. I hope you'll join me later on today. Trevor J is first in the chat. The Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J. I love you, Trevor. I thank you for everything you do for this channel. You're the biggest support for this channel in some ways for me, and I recognize that. I want you to know that. Trevor's saying sometimes no matter how nice you are, how kind you are, how caring you are, how loving you are, it just isn't enough for some people. Well, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about online about reciprocation and, matching energy. And a lot of people do a lot for other people. And so there's users out there that will use you for your kindness, for your availability, for, something that you're good at. And it may be that they don't really like you. They're just using you. And that's what you have to understand. Honest, pure, mutual engagement has a balance to it and inequality. And where you're giving something to that person and they're giving something to you, that's a healthy relationship. And you both kind of honor and understand the arrangement. Well, there's a lot of takers out there. There's a lot of takers. And if you're a giving person, you have to safeguard yourself from being accosted by too many takers, taking too much from your life, whether it's your time, your energy. And that's why you got to get that balance. You can read things. If something ain't right, somebody's just kind of using you. It's your choice whether you continue to engage with them. So thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Thank you. Trevor's also saying the 905 win was a great. Keep it up. It was a very professional win. That's why I'm saying I'm very, very impressed with Andrew Jones. Monique was right that Andrew Jones was going to be a fantastic coach. He just needed some time to get his legs under him. And the Showcase Cup part of the season was dismal. It looked like Eric Curry kind of stuff. But this regular season, they've really kind of taken a really strict professional approach. And Andrew Jones has some very high expectations for the players on the 905. And I appreciate that. Is in his interviews, he says all the right things. And you can tell during the games, he's very fiery and fighting for the team and arguing with the refs for calls and doing whatever it is. I think he's done an exceptional job. Really, really has. And the record reflects that in the regular season now that we're at the top of the G League Eastern Conference. It's fantastic. So keep going, Andrew Jones. Yesterday, we saw the return of Charlie Brown Jr. from injury to the lineup. And well, I have to give Charlie Brown some credit. I was very hard on Charlie Brown in the Showcase Cup for being a selfish player. I had a couple players on 905 I singled out as players I did not like being on this team. But Charlie Brown has gotten the memo. He's figured it out. And what it is he's going to be unselfish. He's going to be more of a team player. He's a very giving player, and he's somebody who's looking out for his teammates. And I have a new respect for Charlie because in some ways you're showing an all-around play. And if you're going to be a teammate, if you're not going to take away like what Trevor was saying with his words of wisdom, you're going to be more of a giver than a taker, Charlie Brown. Well, good grief. I'm happy that you are coming around like this, Charlie Brown. Must have talked to Snoopy and got some advice about, being a better teammate on the team. And, who knows? I don't think that, you've messed around with your career for so long that, it's going to be tough for you to get back to where you were before with the chances you had earlier that you messed up. But I'm going to say, Charlie, thank you for growing as a person this season. How about that? That's what I'll say about that. Yeah. We'll do the 905 stars. How about that? We'll do that right now. Let's go ahead. My star of the game for the 905 victory over the Cleveland Chargers yesterday was Jared Rhoden. Jared Rhoden was just one rebound shy of a triple-double. In fact, in the post-game interview, Eugene Omeroy and Jared did the post-game interview together, and they talked about it. He was in there, and Eugene's like, did you know you almost had a triple-double? And he's like, no, I didn't even know. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I wonder if they gave it to you. We should go look at it. Oh, they didn't give it to you. Yeah, he's just one assist shy of a triple-double. 21 points for Jared Rhoden, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, no turnovers, shooting 9 for 21 from the field, 3 of 11 from 3. A lot of three-point attempts by Jared, but I don't hate that. I keep saying this, he's underlying MVP for this team. He's been really the middle guy in the middle of it all. When the chaos of the G League starts, Jared Rhoden settles things down and helps the Raptors by scoring. In some ways, the action that he's doing for the Raptors right now is very similar to RJ Barrett as far as like when they're having trouble scoring and they're just in a bad place, Jared Rhoden will go get a basket. So I appreciate you, Jared Rhoden. You're my star of the game for last night. 5 offensive rebounds. My guy, get on those boards. Jared Rhoden, just 1 assist shy of a triple-double yesterday. Really, really great performance by Jared. The second star is the guy who's sitting next to him, Eugene Omeroy, who came back finally and played. There was a little bit of weirdness with Eugene in the last week where I was reading the tea leaves and what he's posting on social media, and I thought he had a little bit of a falling out with the Raptors 905. So I was very worried because like some of the things he was saying was like, oh, if you don't appreciate me, I'll go or something like that. I'm like, man, that better not be about our team. I'm telling you, Eugene. Well, he came out and he gave that lion's effort that he usually does when he came out there. He was Canadian Draymond, and he did his Draymond stuff, and he was badass. 7 for 12 from the field for Eugene yesterday. 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 turnover, 18 points, a +6 in 33 minutes. Just a bulldog and doing what he does. He's going to get a lot of different things for you. He's going to play good defense. He's going to shoot some threes for you, and he's going to get in there and get physical around the lane. So, yeah, Eugene is a great, very useful player, and I still think that the Raptors should give him a chance with the main Raptors team by the end of this year. If we're going to be doing any weird, shady pulling punches like we did it last year and not really, it sounds like nobody's in a rush to get Brandon back because in some ways they know that's going to allow us to start winning even better. So I don't know. We're going to have to see how this goes. I'm not fully Stank Nation. I'm not Stank Nation at all. I'm on a case-by-case basis, on a night-to-night basis. We went into Philly, and the chances to win were there, and we took it. And Cleveland, well, last night was a development game and a lesson about playing against a high-level team and what they look like and how it feels to play against that. So every single game for the rest of the season, Raptors fans, don't go into it saying we need to win or we need to lose. Let's just take it for what it is as fans and go with the flow and see what unravels or happens that night. So in some ways, that's what we need to do. We don't need to have preconceived notions about the direction or objectives of the Toronto Raptors for the rest of the season. Let's allow them to naturally do what they're supposed to do in each matchup. When we go out to Washington, play Washington again, we need to beat them. That's just the damn truth. I'm sorry. And Tank Nation can come at me and say, no, we need to lose that game. Cooper Flag. No, we need to beat the Wizards. We need to have some sort of pride when we play them 3 more times for the rest of the season. So everybody wants to lose all the way out. I get it. And even some signals from the front office is showing that we may be intending to lose more often than win, even though we could win more. Well, I don't know. I'm going to take it on a case-by-case basis. I'm under the impression that we're going to try and win every single game, but if we're overmatched like in a match like last night, it's a development game. And honestly, this whole season's been like this. The beginning of the season, there were games where we could be winning, and we didn't, and we lost. There were games we were absolutely going to lose because the team was overmatched against us. And then there's going to be games where we actually do wins. Either we mess around and beat a team like the Clippers that we didn't, people didn't think we could win, but we did beat them. Or you're going to beat a team that's weakened like Sixers, or we're going to beat a team that's just playing bad like the Wizards. So y'all be ready for anything and no preconceived notions for everything for the rest of the season. Let's go with the flow, be fans, accept what happens, the results, and be happy because, and honestly, we're in a position where we don't lose, guys. We win the game, well, we win. We lose, well, we're winning too because that we're involved in high lottery draft positioning in the draft. So we're in a no-lose scenario. So Raptors fans should be very happy right now. They should be very, very happy. We're in a no-lose scenario. We can lose, and it's good for us. We win. It's great for us. And we got Brandon Ingram in the pipeline coming towards us. So everybody should be real, real happy. The third star of the game for me in the 905 victory over a Cleveland Charge yesterday is Frank Kaminsky. Yeah, like I said, the only tank I support is Frank the Tank. If we're going to get in Tank Nation, well, it better be about Kaminsky. That's right, not about wins and losses. You want to be in Tank Nation? Well, go be a fan of Frank. Frank the Tank. That's right, 25 minutes for Kaminsky, 4 of 7 from the field, 1 of 1 at the free-throw line. No, 3-point line, too. So 1 of 1 at the 3-point line, 1 of 1 at the free-throw line, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, 11 points for Frank, a -6. I liked his percentage. I liked his rebounding. I like his size. He's another guy like Eugene that could get called up to the Raptors. No, don't get it twisted. Some people might laugh at that. Say, why would we call up Frank Kaminsky? Well, you seen how bad it is to get a center around this league right now? They just signed Alex Len in L.A. I'm just saying, it's hard to do this. Orlando Robinson's been a great refurbishing on our team so far, and he's been fantastic. But don't get it twisted. We know we have a big man depth problem on the upper squad. And, Frank is, he's not the strongest center, but he has the length and the height, and he has the NBA experience. Is an emergency call-up on a 10-day contract for the Raptors by the end of the season. I would do that. So, Masai and Bobby, if you're asking me who on 905 you should actually consider bringing up to the Raptors or bringing over to the Raptors, apologies, Darko. Kaminsky and Omaroy are the two guys I like the best. You could really throw a bone to Jared Rhoden also because he might want to give him a chance also. My 4th star of the game in the game last night is Shamshay. Shamshay, this is so crazy, man. I feel, it was amazing that Shamshay played in the game at 11 a.m. yesterday. Think about this, y'all. He went to Philadelphia. He played in the Sixers game. He matched up with fellow Cameroonian Joel Embiid in a very physical matchup. In fact, there was that point where he threw Joel in an arm drag to the ground, and Joel crushed him like a big splash, and he's writhing in pain on the floor. And I'm wondering how sore Shamshay was coming into this 905 game against the Charge in the morning. And also, they traveled from Philly the night before. And those late night travels back to Canada through customs, they usually don't get back in until like 3 a.m. So I was wondering how much sleep Ulrich Shamshay was on from that flip. And it's funny, all of them were talking about this the same way. Masai, Bobby, Darko, that we're giving him the lessons of NBA professional life, that you're going to have to do things like this where it's a quick turnaround, and you're going to have to play another game real soon. And how do you take care of your body in a very short window? Like, yeah, that was a really short window. That man got done playing at like 10 p.m. in Philadelphia. They had to get on a plane, fly overnight, and then he had to play at 11 a.m. yesterday morning. I'm telling you, man. In some ways, I was watching Shamshay's eyes to see if he looked like he was on no sleep. because in some ways he could have gotten all hazy and weird and like, whoa, a little bit of hallucinating because he is lack of sleep. It's like, I'm wondering, did that man sleep on the plane? What happened with him? And then I was speculating, is he going to play in the game tonight against Cleveland too? It's crazy. But yeah, Shamshay was on no sleep, and he played for the 9:05 in the morning in the school day game. 24 minutes for him, 3 of 7 from the field. He was 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 offensive rebounds, 8 rebounds altogether, 2 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks. So he was very good with the blocks, a plus 18 with 8 points. Not a whole lot of scoring, but just I'm proud of him for doing the endurance turnaround from the Sixers game the night before. And I really do wonder if he was sore from taking a big splash from Big Dummy and Bozo. So, yeah, Shamshay, impressive. It would have been even more impressive if you played in the Cleveland game and then you played tonight also. That would have been like 4 games in 3 days. Yeah, the Raptors wouldn't have done that to you. We could have really helped, used you like last night against Cleveland. I'm not going to lie, though, because you have some of that strength and size to go up against Mobley and Allen. That may have been helpful. But, yeah, alas, they did it the way they did it. And in some ways, it's kind of funny that Shamshay, good stuff, man. He didn't look horrible either. In fact, he looked better in the game against the Charge than against the Sixers. Like I said, in the Sixers game, he looked a little bit out of his league for a little bit, but he's so young and green. He's going to look a little bit like that to a degree right now. The last star of the game for the 9:05 victory in the morning, the schoolyard game, is Evan Gilliard, the starting point guard for the 9:05. Evan's just been solid in the regular season of the G League. He's just really, really steady, and I like his decision making. He's been doing really, really good job. Kennedy Chandler's fallen off as the season's gone on, and Evan Gilliard's gotten better and better. 32 minutes, 5 of 13 from the field for Evan, 3 of 7 from 3. Some very key threes. In fact, a very key key shot to close the game out to win the game for them. He kind of hit the dagger at the end, Gilliard. So good stuff by him. 3 of 7 from 3. He hit both his free throws, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, a +6 with 15 points. I guess I could give an honorable mention to AJ Lawson. He didn't shoot very well. 4 of 14 for AJ, 4 of 9 from 3. I like the 4 3-pointers. 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Really ugly free throws. And once again, these are multiple point free throws, AJ. So get it together, man. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, +7 with 15 points. AJ Lawson, since he's become a Raptor, has regressed, guys. I hate this. On the Long Island Nets, he was playing at such a high level, and his play is getting worse as the season goes on playing for the Raptors. He was playing really well when he first showed up, but he's got to tighten it up, man. AJ, you're playing too out of control. You've got to slow down. I know in some ways that's part of how you gain an advantage for yourself by playing very quickly. But, man, you're not playing within, and you're not using your fundamentals on your jump shot. Your jump shot's all over the place. You got to tighten up, AJ. You got to tighten up. Tyreek Key came in for 5 minutes and got goose eggs all across. And a big supporter, Tyreek Key, got mad at me in the chat on YouTube because I said, well, he started really hot, but he cooled off, and he doesn't really contribute to the team much other than shooting threes and shooting because he's not a plus defender. He's not a plus rebounder. He's not really a playmaker. So it's tough to get time for Tyreek when he's not hitting his three. He has to be hitting his shot. Quincy Guerriere, 1 for 7 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. He hit his only free throw. 3 offensive rebounds, 5 altogether. 1 assist, -5 with 4 points. Quincy's similar to AJ, and he's just a little too out of control at times too. In some ways, he's got to rein it in and kind of get a little bit more under control. Kennedy Chandler, another goose egg game. These are really coming lately where Kennedy's not scoring at all. 15 minutes, 0 for 1. He only took 1 shot, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, a +1, 0 points. And, yeah, that's it. Charlie Brown, also honorable mention off the bench in his return. 19 minutes, 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 of 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, 3 turnovers, +4 with 10 points in 19 minutes. Yeah, it is what it is. The Raptors 905 didn't shoot well, but so did the Charge. They didn't shoot well either. It's just a team that played a little bit better as a team and wanted it more at the end, got the win. And it was back and forth. It was a close game for a lot of the game. It wasn't like it was a blowout or anything like that. There was the third quarter was key. The Raptors 905 came back from halftime and doubled, tripled the score of the Charge. They outscored them 32-11. That's where they really separated from them. but the Charge did claw back some of that lead in the fourth quarter and made it close. And a 6-point win for the 905, 102-96. On the other side, I'll give a couple of kudos to a couple of the Charge players. Naquan Tomlin was their main guy with 24 points on 9 of 14 shootings. Also, Farron Hunt with 26 points. There was some Amani Bates in the game, but he was bad, man. 3 of 12 from the field. He didn't score until like the second half. And then I was like, oh, Amani Bates is playing in this game. So I was like, I didn't even think he was playing because he wasn't doing nothing on the court. So, yeah, I want to focus on that game for a little bit there, the 905 win over Cleveland Charge. We're going to play them again tonight. So we'll have to see how they adjust against how we beat them. And we'll see if we can stay a step ahead and make the sweep in this back-to-back series with the Cleveland Charge these last 2 days. There we go. Yeah, Trevor's saying Ingram says Jacoby going to be his dog, his rook, and Scotty's going to bring out the goofiness in him. Yes, yesterday they had the introductory press conference with the press for Brandon Ingram. And fantastic job, Bobby Webster and the Raptors, to do it really classy and bring him in. And, they're going to put his face up on the outside screen outside Scotiabank Arena. They introduced him to the crowd at the game last night, and he got an ovation, and he waved to everybody. Yeah, it's really cool. Things are going so well with this Brandon Ingram acquisition that, naysayers, that press that want to write negative things about this thing or can't, because it's all looking like everything's good. They all wanted to write stories about how, and they want to gaslight us about how Brandon Ingram may not want to stay. Well, he signed an extension till 2028 yesterday. So you can't write that story, Josh Lewenberg. I'm sorry. So he's writing things like this morning, like, well, it all seems like everything is fine if the deal is like this, and Brandon Ingram, things are going great. So he had to write that this morning. Good job, Bobby and Masai, taking care of GM business so that the press can't write bullshit leading up to it. I appreciate that. That's really smart strategy. And, well, I mean, it makes sense why they did it. It makes sense for Brandon, too. He wants a security of a good contract. But in some ways, if he had waited till the summer, he could have got a longer contract and possibly more money. But that's also part of the convenience of the Ingram deal, is that the terms of it are very attractive to both the team and to Brandon himself. So it's a really win-win. And they found that spot. Bobby said they were in the ballpark about this deal. And, well, they found themselves in the ballpark, and they met, and they got it right. So it's a good thing. I love it. Yeah, I could see him being one. He probably saw some of the stuff Jacoby's been doing in games recently, and he's like, man, this kid has a lot of potential. If I give him my knowledge, my proprietary knowledge of what I do as an NBA All-Star and former most improved player, I could really help Jacoby become that much better of an offensive player also with some of my attention. And that's what they said in the press conference. I think it was Darko and Bobby both said this, that Brandon Ingram's going to make Scotty a better player. Scotty's going to make Brandon Ingram a better player. And you can go ahead and go around the whole team and say, yeah, Brandon Ingram's going to make Jacoby a better player, RJ a better player, and stuff like that. So I'm excited. There's a lot of knowledge in Brandon. He's a student of the game. He's a basketball junkie. We found out yesterday that the Chinese symbol on his neck means gem. I thought at first he said Jim. And I was like, well, that makes sense. The man can't get out of it. So he just has the Chinese word gem on his neck. But he said gem, like a uncut gem, like the Adam Sandler movie. So he's got a gem. So you may see in some of the stuff with Brandon a little gem emoticon on things that get posted on social media. It's because the symbol on his neck is a gem. It says gem. Yeah, very interesting press conference. It seemed like Brandon was delighted with the questions. He seems very, very, very much enthusiastic about this new change. And he said a lot of the right things. There were a couple of things that were kind of little red flag for me, but most of it was all very positive and very, very, very good. Very, very good. I love that he came out and said that they told me they want to make me an all-star again. And then Darko re-echoed it later saying, yeah, we want to make him an all-star again. This is the stuff that's going to make Brandon Ingram come out and get to new levels as a player in the NBA. We're going to see that. Yeah. And the Scotty and him stuff is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting. Trevor's saying all Raptors players should play like RJ, take the basketball with force to the hoop. Well, there's different player types and different talent levels and different abilities. And unfortunately, that's RJ has that. He has that. And that's not unfortunate. That's amazing. But not all these guys do. That's what's unfortunate. Scotty taking it to the basket the game before, well, it was really shown, and we saw something in that. It's different. Everybody's not going to be quick enough or strong to do it, and you have to have a combination of both to do it. And RJ has that combination to do it effectively. RJ was the best player for the Raptors last night. He is my star of the game in the Raptors game against Cleveland. He was the only one who was able to score consistently throughout the whole entire game. And 28 minutes, 11 of 18 from the field, fantastic efficiency. 2 for 5 from 3, 3 of 7 at the free throw line. The free throw line problems continue. I've told you, RJ, you're not using your legs at the free throw line. That's why you shoot those weird short free throws. You're just flipping it with your arms, but you need to use power from your legs and get your man. You just need to get a free throw routine. You don't have one, man. You're just going up there doing improvising every single time you get up there. And you got to fix that. It's going to be a really major problem if you continue to shoot this poorly at free throws. I'm just saying, RJ. 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, -8 with 27 points in 28 minutes. Points production per minute, fantastic. Yeah, RJ's just steady like that. And that's what he does. And that's why he's going to be a very crucial, important person to us. RJ, Grady, Jacoby, Brandon, these are going to be guys that are going to get baskets for us when we're having a hard time getting scores. And RJ is the best guy at it right now for our team. And I support and love RJ Barrett from Toronto, man. He's so good. My second star of the game is off the bench, and it's a J-Rook. I'm going to give the second star to Jamison Battle last night because much like RJ, he got his points per minute exactly right. 11 minutes for Jamison, 11 points for Jamison. 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and a block. He had a huge block in the fourth quarter. That was like, I was like, wow, the Raptors, look at that. Look at Jamison with that block. Yeah, he had a really good game, and I love the shooting. Grady was off, and in some ways, having Jamison Battle step up and hit 3 threes was very helpful last night in a pinch, but it was not in a winning effort, but it's just trying to keep up with them. In some ways, I wanted us to not get beat by 25. So what happened was we got 108 to 31. So what is that? That's 23 we lost by. So that's good. We lost by less than 25. And that was weird because in the game, the score was 50 to 25 at one point. Did you notice that? 50 to 25. We had 25. They had 50. Then it was 75 to 50. Did you notice that? It was 75 to 50. And then it was 100 to 75 at one point. So it's like, all right, if it's going to be like this margin, we're going to hit these benchmarks where it's like we're 25 points behind them the whole game. I just want to beat them by less. I just want to lose by less than 25, and that happened 23. It would have been better. It would have been 21 if it hadn't been knucklehead Tristan. And we're going to talk about that too. Don't worry. We're going to go over the Tristan Thompson incident real quick. And I have some choice words for Mr. Thompson. I do. Yeah. All right. Let's see. The third star of the game, and this one is Oshai. Oshai has been so steady, even in the chaos and the weirdness. The defense is always top notch, and he's adding good things on offense too. 25 minutes for Oshai Abaji, 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 from free throw, 3 rebounds, 1 block, a -5 with 15 points. Yeah, he's just steady. He's just doing stuff out there. He's one of the more ethical players in this game. A lot of the Raptors did not shoot well last night. And 5 for 11, I'll take that, considering some of the other people, how they shot. I mean, Emmanuel shot 5 for 11 also, but he had some turnovers. And also, I expect more from Emmanuel. 15 points is great, but, in some ways, if you want me to give you a star, Emmanuel, you're going to have to get 20. And Scotty, same thing. 16 points is not going to cut it. And also a -32 in the plus-minus, Scott. I'll go over the rest of the box score real quick for the Raptors. Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel are my honorable mentions for the game last night, not getting stars. 33 minutes for Scott, 7 of 15. That's not horrible shooting. In fact, some of the stuff he was doing was really badass. He was really showing some more offensive chops, like really nice turnarounds and spinning this way and doing that, trying to get away from Allen and Mobley. Really, really smart stuff. Scotty took 2 threes, missed them both. 2 of 3 at the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, 3 block shots, 4 turnovers, a -32, as I said, with 16 points in 33 minutes. Yeah, he had the worst plus-minus. Scotty also was very actively loud on the court, and sometimes he lost his patience. He lost his patience with Grady at one point, and I was kind of like, Scott, you can't humiliate your teammates on court. You got to be smarter than this. In some ways, Brandon said, yeah, we love each other enough that we can be real with each other and say things in any emotion because we know that the heart and the reason why is the right place. But in some ways, you're going to have to balance this better, Scott. You're a very emotional, outward person. You are sensitive and you're also very loud. And in some ways, some of the stuff you're doing on the court is negative for the Raptors, even if you think it's positive. So rein it in a little bit. In some ways, you need to be the leader on the court exactly how you're doing. I love that. And I love that you care so much, but you do not want to make your teammates look bad publicly on the court. And you need to do this in a way that's respectful to them. If you do this too much like this, you're going to turn off your teammates and you can cause toxic situation. So let's remember they're your guys, and you don't want to humiliate or belittle them in front of everybody like that. It's not a good action. It's not a good action. In some ways, you can be effective in talking to your teammates to get them what you want to do in a different way. And they'll listen to you. But I love that you care so much. I love that you're ready to stand for Toronto at the end of the game against Tristan Thompson. That is all. You're with us. You're a bona fide Toronto Raptor, and you are for real for us. I know. But I see some problems possibly if you're too hard on people. There's a level of Kobe and Michael you can be, but you don't want to have the level of too much toxicness where you're hazing and mistreating a rookie like Jeremy Lin, like Kobe Bryant did, or you're wanting to punch your teammates in the face like Michael Jordan did Steve Kerr. So you need to like balance this, man. I like that you have that fire and you're showing the same stuff that Jordan and Bryant had because they were very demanding and accountable for everybody playing to a certain level. But you've got to balance this in a healthy way. I'm just saying. Also, Scotty, at the beginning of the game, that incident with Mark Davis, well, in some ways, this is Mark Davis. Mark Davis is an asshole. He's an egotist. He's a former military man. He's a very regimented person. He's on this list that I have for the refs that you just don't fuck with him because he will take it out on you, will give you a technical. And he's just like Tony Brothers. Don't show him up on the court. The reason why Scotty got that technical last night was not arguing the call is because he clapped at Mark. When you clap at a ref, like that, you're going to get a text, Scott. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can clap at the person you're defending for enthusiasm, like you're hyping up, you're going to guard them. You could clap at your teammates to try and get their attention and talk to them, but do not clap at the ref. That was your fatal mistake right there. And I think Jack's right that when he said that that's a bullshit technical, that if Luka or LeBron were arguing with the ref, they would look the other way and they wouldn't call it technical. He's exactly right. Like the other stars in the league, they will look the other way because they know giving him a technical is get him closer out there. It was a warning tech for Scott. He reined it in. He didn't get another technical and get thrown out. But still, right at the beginning of the game, you don't want to get a technical like that because it does make you have to second guess your aggressiveness and how you got to be. And if you get that second technical, you're out. It's a warning technical. And getting it right at the beginning of the game set a bad tone. And then Strus hitting all these threes. It was like, yeah, we're in trouble. Scotty's got a technical already and on the wrong side of Mark Davis. And Strus is going to go off and hit threes like this. We're in trouble. But yeah, there's a lesson in that little bit. Scotty, you're so emotional and you're so emotive and you're passionate. And I love all that. But we've got to learn how to use that passion and channel it in the right ways so that it's productive and positive for your team and you, and not do it in ways where it's detrimental, is what I'm saying. Mark Davis is an asshole. He's absolutely an asshole. And that was totally because it's him. A lot of the refs would not have called a tech on you. It's just that specific ref is like that, just so you know. He's just like that. Looking at more of the box score here, as I said, Emmanuel was an honorable mention. 5 of 11 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, a minus 12 with 15 points for Emmanuel Quickly. Not a bad game. It's just I expect more, especially in a game like this. And yeah, Manuel, you've been doing great. I'm just happy to see you healthy and on the court. How about that? Jonathan Mobo was the starting center again in a very overmatched matchup. This is just not fair to him, honestly. The kid just doesn't have the experience and he doesn't have the size. Let's just be honest, to go up against Mobley and Allen and have a fighting chance. In some ways, this is the biggest part of why we lost, is because Jakob Poeltl is not taking the court to go and take some energy to 2 guys against him. Well, how are we going to do it with half a center against 2 centers? Well, you see a little bit of it. And Jonathan Yeoman's, I mean, really, really good try, man. and you're out there fighting. And honestly, this is the kind of young experience getting as a rook that's going to benefit you for a long, long time in your career. So in some ways, you're getting thrown in the fire, and you're going to get burned and you're going to lose. But this is experience and stuff that you need now for you to be better later. 2 for 6 from the field for Jonathan. 1 of 1 at the free 3-point line. I love that. He made his only 3-point attempt. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. A minus 17 with 8 points. He's out there. He's active. He's trying his best, but we're overmatched at that position. That's just how it is. Grady had a dismal game. It was a really tough game for Grady. 1 for 7, 0 for 3 at the free 3-point line. 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 2 points. Only 2 points for Grady last night. A minus 31. He just really struggled against the length of the two Twin Towers for Cleveland. And this is the thing. We saw the Raptors missing a lot of bunnies, a lot of close shots in the lane. And that is totally these guys in their defense disrupting any kind of points in the paint the Raptors were trying to go inside and get. That's normal. That's Jared Allen. That's Evan Mobley together on the same team. And it's really, really hard to score at the basket against the Cavs. That's one of the reasons why their record is so good and why they're the number 1 team in the East, is because you can't go inside on them. And if we're a team that can't shoot threes and they can shoot threes, there's all kinds of mismatches on the court where Cleveland's going to have our number. But this is the thing. Cleveland's this way now. We're going to get to a certain point where we're something at some point, and Cleveland won't stay at this level forever, guys. So we're going to see something, and things will switch around, and we'll be on top again someday. Trust me. It's just right now, Cleveland is king and top dog in the league in the Eastern Conference. And that's just how it is. That's just how it is this year. Orlando Robinson, not a bad job as a backup center yesterday. In fact, I saw him do more offensive stuff in the lane that made me happy. A lot of like very patient stuff and like making sure he got the basket. 3 for 6 from the field. Missed his only 3-point attempt. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 6 points for Orlando. You know, in some ways, we just need him to be a big, beefy guy out there, kind of counterweighting people like I just said, Mobley and Allen. He's got to be that counterweight. Jamal Shed, not a great game. 18 minutes, 1 of 5. He was a little out of control at times in the game last night. He missed his only 3-point shot, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, a minus 11 with 2 points. And Jacoby gets an honorable mention too. He was 3 for 4 from the field, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, a plus 3 with 6 points. He was the only guy on our team that was a plus. When he was on the court, we actually won. So there you go. We did technically outscore them in the second half, guys. We scored 65 points against the Cavs in the second half, and they only scored 63 points. So, and we would have outscored them by 2 more if Tristan wasn't a punk ass. So, yeah, it really was the first quarter, 41-17 through the first frame. And, well, how are you going to battle back from that? Especially, like I was telling everybody in the chat, I was like, the only way we get back in this game and win is they go absolutely dry with their shots, and we go on some fantastic, crazy-ass run. That's the only way. But we did eat up the lead over the course of the game a bit by bit as best as we could. As Darko said, we hung with them evenly for 3 quarters. It's just the first quarter, they blow it open right away, right at the beginning of the game. I'll give some kudos to the other side for players from the other side. In particular, Donovan Mitchell, 21 points. Off the bench, Sam Merrill, 16 points with 4 of 10 shooting from 3. And Max Strus was absolutely deadly early. And all of his threes came early. And then he didn't do anything early. He broke the game open right away. And then he kind of faded away for the rest of the game. He was a plus 33. The big men, both doubles. 12 and 15 for Evan and 13 and 10 for Jarrett. Yeah, and Darius Garland, an afterthought in this game. But that must be nice to have the luxury of so many different weapons just stepping up and doing that. Well, the Raptors will have this too. It's just we got to get fully healthy. And with Brandon in the fold now, we're going to have options just like Cleveland does. They may not be exactly the same options, but we will have options to take apart other teams too. Yeah, that's an interesting game. That mullet guy came in at the end, Luke Travers. I was like, who is that mullet man on Cleveland? I saw him before the game. I was like, who's that Joe Dirt looking dude? I was like, does anybody know who is this? Oh, it's Luke Travers. Yeah, he came in the game and he played later. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, we'll do more. We'll do the box scores on both games still too, as far as the team stats. All right, let's keep going in the chat. Let's see. Mike is here. Logical Raptors Fanatic has returned to the chat. Mike, I hope you're doing better than you were the other day. I was a little worried about you, man. I'm worried for your health, your mental health, and just taking care of yourself. My guy, I love you. And I just want the best for you as far as like, being in the right place with your mind. And yeah, he's saying, sorry, Lex and fam. I celebrated the Ingram extension and the great development of the rookies, etc. Stank Nation is done after this year. We are back, and I see how it's going to grow further. Messiah's MVP. Yeah, this is the thing I love about this Brandon thing is every once in a while, Messiah's going to do something that's going to make everybody remember, yeah, you need to trust in Bobby and Messiah, that they're a good front office. And Brandon Ingram's like that. It's an interesting thing because Brandon's a big enchilada. He's a marquee name. He's a name that you can get excited about. The people that are excited about the Luka being on the Lakers, well, we have a similar thing up here. There's people that are excited about Brandon being on the Raptors and what his potential and possibilities are. So yeah, a lot of people that are liking shiny new things are very happy with the Ingram extension and acquirement. And that's great. You take care of those people. They shut up and they stop being negative for a while because they got a shiny new toy. It's like a baby. Here you go. Here's Brandon Ingram. Oh, baby, I'm so happy. It's a little bit like that right now with that. So I'm happy about that. And people that doubt them, well, in some ways, it's like, y'all, once again, you're never right when you say our front office is washed or that Bobby and Messiah need to be fired. You've never been right. And when they make moves, they prove to you that you're wrong every single time. And that's why I love my front office. I trust in Messiah and Bobby every single day, unlike some of these jackasses who waver back and forth. Why don't you just stick with them? They've proven track record tells you should, is what I'm saying right there. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Mike's saying there's a true pathway to contending again. I agree. I very much agree with this. And, we're not done. It's still a work in progress. There's going to be switches around, and there may be a big trade at some point of one of the main guys. I don't know. We'll have to see. But we're going in the forward in the future. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of promise. The future is bright. It's bright. It's bright. I'm going to put them up here so we can keep them on right there. Yeah, its future is bright. So, yeah, Trevor wants me to do the Instagram stories and classic card. All right, I'll do the Instagram stories first. We'll do that right now. First of all, we got 905. Mississauga was crowded yesterday. Those kids were awesome, as always. Those kids are so awesome. They were singing songs. They were doing the defense chants, go Raptors go. It's so loud. The decibels are loud. The kids are a factor. In some ways, I think that the 905, they were down to the charge in the first part of the game, and the kids came out and cheered them on and gave them energy and got them past them and helped them win the game. I'm not gonna lie, that school days crowd really does help the energy for the 905. We've had a couple of games this year where the school crowd has been there, and they absolutely win these games. I'm telling you, it's so good. And they even acknowledged this after the game. The guys are like, yeah, the kids come and they give us such energy that we just have to play good for them and win. And that's what happened. It's really fun to see. And those kids deserve it. They get rewarded for their good citizenship and attendance. And they get a 905 game and they go down there. And I hope you kids never stop cheering like that. Seriously, cheer like this as adults. Don't shut up when you get older. Cheer like that when you get older too, because that's the way I still cheer. That's right. But yeah, 905, very, very proud of the stuff that happened in the game yesterday. Good stuff with taking care of business. There they are coming out in the court with stripes and the flag. And yeah, they're wearing their Black Heritage Month jerseys that look real sharp. And yeah, just a good all-around effort and good job. There's a manual on his Instagram. He's reading a book, and then it's his hairstyle, I guess. I don't know. He's just in a casual pose and privacy. I don't know what's going on there. Jamal Shed is talking about Dennis Jenkins, who got 30 points, career high for the Motor City Cruise. I guess that's a former teammate of his. Yeah, boy, who got 30 points in the G League game for the Motor City Cruise. Let's see. What else is there on Jamal's? He's got baby clothes. A little niece. I guess his niece is getting some Raptors gear. It's cute. It's like little pink pajamas with love and the Raptors symbols all over it. And this fan gear from her Uncle Jay. She's ready for her Uncle Jamal Shed. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love the little Raptors clothes for the little niece. That's awesome. There's Brandon Ingram coming in on the plane. There's a video. Oh, no, this is a video. That's not Brandon. It's just some song he felt like putting on his Instagram stories. There he is outside the Scotiabank Arena yesterday with his picture up on the screen, standing out at gate 6, looking up at it. Yeah, Brandon got that regular welcome. I know in Toronto, when we welcome somebody, they really feel like they're coming into something. Trust me. there's a smile at the press conference yesterday. I thought you did a good job in the press conference. You're savvy. You've been in this league for a long time. You know the right things to say and what not to say. But I also felt like you came across not just with like um, lines that are fed to you by your media group. This is what you should say and stuff like. You came by across very genuine and authentic, and soft spoken and humble. And also, your heart for your teammates and your people are evidence. I loved how the guys came into the press room at the end of the press conference, and he saw them, and he just lit up seeing Scotty and Jacoby and Coach Darko coming into the press room and say, "There's you guys," and he just lit up. That's such a good sign. I'm telling you guys, this dude is in the fold. He's a Raptor, and he's proudly a Raptor at this point, which is awesome. Matt Devlin celebrating, of course, the Vince Carter dunk anniversary. I'm not even covering that much. Have y'all noticed? I'm not really covering this, but I will cover this right now. Vince did not come to the dunk anniversary game last night, and I wasn't sure if he was coming or not. I was like, I assumed that he would be there last night at the beginning of the year because it's a big deal. It's kind of like the jersey retirement, but no, he didn't make the effort to come to Toronto. And in some ways, that tells me a lot of all I need to know about Vince. In some ways, where we're at with him. He's like, yeah, I came up for the jersey retirement. I'll be there. I'll wear the suit. I'll say hi to the fans. I'll be in Toronto. But yeah, he's not going to be there for the dunk anniversary. Then it kind of made me mad. In some ways, I was gearing up to skewer Vince Carter today for not being at the dunk anniversary game last night. But you know what happened? He released a video yesterday apologizing for not coming to the dunk anniversary game. And you know what happened? I heard two words out of Vince Carter's mouth that I never thought I'd ever hear from him. I'm sorry, Raptors fans. He said, I'm sorry, Raptors fans last night. Now, he's sorry because he didn't come to the dunk anniversary. He said, I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight. But you know what? Just the fact that he made that video and apologized for not being there in person, it actually meant something to me. It's weird. He's saying I'm sorry for that. He's not saying I'm sorry for what happened with the New Jersey Nets exit. He's saying he's sorry for not making a dunk anniversary and that he felt like he should have been there. It really meant a lot to me. I'm not gonna lie. I've been going back and forth with Vince Carter all year, whether I like him or not. And in some ways, I hate him still right now. But it really meant a lot to me that he said I'm sorry and that I couldn't be there. Because honestly, I just wanted to hear those words come out of his mouth at some point. I'm sorry, Raptors fans. That's all I needed to hear, Vince. And you said it finally. And it is in the context of not being a dunk anniversary, but it healed the part of me. It was weird. I was like, holy crap. He said, I'm sorry. I didn't think he was capable of saying it. But he said it in the context of not being a dunk anniversary. It went a long way. I'm not going to lie. It went a long way, Vince. And you know what else went a long way? You also said go Toronto at the end of the thing. You said go Toronto. I don't think I've ever heard you root on the Raptors or say go Toronto since you left acrimoniously. Those were two very healing things you did. That little statement video y'all released last night in his absence from the dunk anniversary went a long way with this Raptors fan and actually healing a bit more. So I don't know. I'm in a weird place with Vince. I'm kind of not totally trusting him. Like I'm expecting him to disrespect us or do something fucked up towards us again. But the little bit of hate that I got back from him from the Raptors Delight second episode, it's kind of diminished because of his apology last night. I don't know. It's such a weird thing. I think I'm just going to go with the flow and stay present with Vince. Forget about the past. We're neutral right now, and it's your choice, bro. You want to embrace Raptors Nation? You want to embrace people like the Raptor Freak Nation? Then I'll embrace you back, and you can come back in and be a good stand-in alumni with us. If we're good now, and you're going to respect us, and you're going to be actually rooting for us as an alumni, saying, I want the Raptors to win. Because that's the thing, Vince. And cultures like the Celtics culture, the Lakers culture, the Bulls culture, the former players want to see their former teams excel and win. Look about Magic Johnson and how bad he wants the Lakers to win since he's retired. His whole time he's been, I just want the Lakers to win more. I want you to be like that for us. That's what I'm saying. And in some ways, I know you couldn't see yourself being like that for us during the decades of us hating you and us being at odds because of your exit. But can we come around at this point in the healing place where Vince Carter can be a fan of the Raptors and actually outwardly root for us and be in our fan nation and be more like Irvin Johnson is towards the Lakers? Because seriously, I know you may wish down low, maybe the Nets win more than us. I don't know. Maybe the Magic win more than us. But any outward support for our current team from you, whether it's, like you said, counseling our young players, which I don't totally trust, But publicly stating, let's go Raptors, that goes a long way, because in some ways, sure, you can egotistically come through and get all your accolades, your jersey retirement, your face on a plane, all that kind of stuff. But in some ways, you got to respect the other side of the relationship, and that's loving your history with us and respecting and being that about us. In some ways, there was disrespect towards Toronto last night by a man from Toronto. And I want you to not be like Tristan Thompson and disrespect this city and this country. I want you to embrace it and understand the Air Canada effect was real, and it's a huge impact, and it's cultural. And you did it, bro. And you shouldn't shit on that. You should embrace it and enjoy it and revel it, and absolutely, absolutely just feel the beautifulness of it. Because in some ways, not only are we robbed of not having a great icon from our franchise when we're at odds, you're robbed of all the great feelings that people like DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry get. And that's why you need to come correct and get right on this. It's not just I want to selfishly love the Vinsanity and the Dunkiversary and what you accomplished as a Raptor when we were good. I want to embrace all that again. I have all the memories. I worked in the arena at the time. I saw Vinsanity every day when I went to work. It's something I cut off my memories of because of how much I hated you after you left. So that's what I'm saying. Let's fully heal this shit, Vince. You said you're sorry to Raptors fans last night. I take your apology and I accept it. And I know you couldn't make it last night. You could have been, I don't know, doing a Brooklyn Nets game last night for some reason or something else. I don't care. Either way, the fact that you took the time and made that message, that meant more to me in some ways than, I would have liked you to have shown up. But, I get it. I get it. And in some ways, this is okay. You guys handled it right. Masai and Bobby, good job. You got me back in a neutral place, at least with Vince. We'll see what the next step is with him. We'll see what he does next. And if I'm cool with him, and then for going forward, we're more positively steamrolling a snowball going down the hill of positive things happening with Vince, supporting our team, us loving him back and having him more a part of our history and our culture in a nice, positive way instead of all that ugly shit. I'm for healing and doing this. It's just he had to do a couple things, and saying you're sorry last night was the first one. That's it right there, man. That's it right there. Holy crap. Yeah, there you go. There's Matt Devlin at the press conference with Brandon Ingram and Bobby Webster. Very, very cool. Listen, I want to say this to the people who were filming the press conference yesterday. When Bobby had to answer the question, you should not have panned just specifically over on Bobby. You should have kept the two shot with Brandon inside it, because I wanted to see Brandon's reaction to what Bobby was saying. Y'all screwed up. I know y'all thought that Bobby wouldn't have to talk, and you had the tight one shot, and you just panned over and looked just on Bobby. But you should have panned back out and included both of them when he was answering his questions, so we could have seen Brandon Ingram's facial responses to what Bobby Webster was saying in that press conference yesterday. So not very good camera work. Person at the press conference yesterday. Get it together. Yeah, I know in some ways you don't want to do a whole lot of camera work because it's just a press conference. It's just be on one person. And you don't have to move it. But in this situation, you should have done better, is what I'm going to say. Yeah, a little critique of the camera work at the press conference yesterday. Kelly Olynyk in New Orleans trying king cake for the first time. He's trying that crazy purple and green and yellow gold cake that they eat in New Orleans. And he's like, it's pretty good, pretty good. Now, Kelly's used to eating healthy things, y'all, down south. He eats a lot of sushi, a lot of steak. I know. It's all over his Instagram. So, y'all, don't be feeding him junk food. In some ways, he's getting older. He's older and he's later in his career. And we still need him for Team Canada stuff to a degree. So, y'all don't butterball him up down in New Orleans like you did Zion. Please, please. Can you keep him in shape? Making that man eat that cake. Young Oach coming into the entryway wearing his awesome outfit. Really looking cool. His fiance has got him on blast. And he is saying, love you too, boo. Love you too, boo. That's right. There you go. So handsome. So damn handsome. That's right. Jonathan Nathan is saying this on his Instagram this morning. Nobody forced me to follow Jesus. He literally came and saved me. I'm starting to feel this, y'all. I have more and more of a proclivity to go towards Christ in my days now, especially in times of like worrying about what's going on in the world right now. I am turning to God. Seriously. I've been praying every day, and I have not been this person ever in my life. I never went to church, and the power of Christ is coming into me, man. I'm not lying. As far as Trevor J, Randolph Phillips, and a lot of the leaders on this channel, y'all have shown the way to me for years now, and I have not totally listened, but I'm listening now. And I'm ready to turn my life over to Jesus Christ. These times are scaring me. And for me to have faith in the world and life, I have to turn it over to JC. And I'm finding power and strength in him. I'm all the glory in the world to God. I'm saying this now. I see his way. And just like Jay Nathan's saying, he literally came to save him. He's coming to save me. And y'all should be proud, Trevor. Y'all should be proud, Randolph, because y'all have influenced me as my friends to find this way. I love y'all. Thank you. And thank you to the creator above who makes this world, even in this world, confuses and confounds me. I know his greater plan of all is a good design, and it's going to all work out in the end. The meek shall inherit the earth. Evil shall be banished, and the good will come back because I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in God, and I believe in the power of prayer. And that's the influence of Trevor J., Randolph Phillips, Jonathan Mobo, Emmanuel Quickly, Jacoby Walter, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick. My Raptors are Christians. My Raptors are men of faith. My Raptors are good Christian men that believe in God. And I'm coming around to it too. With the influence of people like Jonathan and Randolph and Trevor. I'm sorry, I just had to testify for a second on what I'm doing in my life personally, spiritually, that has changed. I never went to church regularly in my life. I barely opened the Bible open. In some ways, I understand Christianity. I understand the morals of Jesus Christ. I understand what's right and wrong. And I want to be a better follower of this religion because I know it will get me through the dark days and that God loves me and God loves all of us. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time with the politics and the things that are happening. I'm not going to talk about them right now, but I just wanted to talk about that aspect of how I'm coping. That's all. All right, let's go back into the stories. And thank you. And I apologize for getting emotional. This is a very, very real thing I'm talking about right now. And it means very, very much to me because I do really believe in this now. I really, really do. I turned the corner in the last 2 weeks, guys. And I don't know if I'm going to go to church, but I'm going to have my own ways of worshiping and following Christ in my own life right now. And that's really good. All right, that's it. That's it on the Instagram stories. I can't go into on them anymore right now. Yeah, that's where I'm at, y'all. I apologize if I'm cringe. I apologize if I turn some people off. You know, I've always considered myself agnostic. I'm not gonna lie. Not an atheist. I always left the door open that there could be something. But now I'm not an agnostic anymore. I gotta tell you guys. I really do believe that there is a creator out there that made this world and that you know they want nature and rightness to be. And I see the bunny in my house outside eating, and I connect with them. I'm more on the bunny side than any human being side because the natural world and the creation of God is the right side to be on. And that side is with the trees, the squirrels, and the bunnies, and the good-hearted, natured people in this world, whether they're Christian, Muslim, Jewish, whatever faith. And I'm not against the other faiths just because I decided to become Christian. No, because the right kind of Christian is for everybody. It isn't looking at things and dividing that way. And that's why, in some ways, I feel like to become a Christian now, I want to show what a good Christian is and what being a follower of Jesus Christ actually is. Because people hijack that shit and try and make it seem like, oh, well, I'm Christian to this. No, you're evil and you're doing evil things and you're just using that Christian label to hide and cover up your bullshit. So in some ways, I want to be a real Christian, one that really believes in the real morality and the teachings of Christ, of being humble and looking out for the poor and the people that need the help, than the evil people that are saying they're Christians, but they're not, because they want to throw people in cages and starve children. So, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I went on that little tangent. But yeah, in some ways, I had obviously the necessariness to get it out of me. I had the burning desire to say it. So yeah, I said it. I said it. All right, let's keep going. Mike has another comment here. Let's see what he's saying here. Also, message heard on how I can be more helpful and less confusing. I respect your advice on my channel. Project Truth always respect. Same thing, Mike. I liked your new format, and I think those little blurps and blips. I see you did one this morning too on Brandon Ingram are fantastic. I think you're going to find some bread and butter there, Mike. All I ask is just be succinct, not confusing, and please don't just try and argue with me. Let's make our points, and if they don't coexist with each other, right? Let's just agree to disagree and move forward. Because I like to do this channel with a certain amount of time, and we're extending things too much because you're repeating yourself and arguing with me. Now I know that you weren't at your best the other day, and that was part of the reason why. I know that. Yeah. Let's keep going. Smooth brown man, Reggie. Good morning. What's with Tristan Thompson disrespecting the game? Tacky, classless. Yeah. Some Cavs fans defending his nonsense. Well, they're going to do that. They're idiots. Of course, they're going to do that. Now, I'm really disappointed in Tristan. He's from Toronto. He doesn't respect the Raptors, obviously. He's Cavs Nation. I mean, he was around for the Cavs championship with LeBron way back, right? He's kind of like, I don't know. He's a turncoat. He's a piece of shit, honestly. I really hate Tristan now. I think that, in some ways, yeah, you never should have been on the Team Canada, motherfucker. And the way you were like, oh, I want to be on Team Canada the last time it came around. No, motherfucker, you're too old and you're broke and you're stupid. I don't even understand why you're on the Cavs at this point. Tristan Thompson, your mother was a great woman. Your mother is a great woman. I'm sad that she passed away a couple years ago. I'm very, very sad about that because she did a lot of good work here in Toronto for Epilepsy Toronto and funding it and helping with your money, honestly, to help fund a great organization in this city. That was the only thing I liked about you, was that in some ways your family helped support a cause that is so near and dear to my heart. But now it's like, dude, I knew you were a jackass when I saw you in that Drake video where Drake marries 23 women. And you're just like in there being a jackass. You know what? Tristan Thompson, 2-finger salute for you, motherfucker. Seriously. We got Kelly Olynyk, we got RJ Barrett. They're from Toronto. They love the Raptors. They wanted to play for the Raptors. You never had that dream. We may have even asked you, Tristan, can you come and play center for us at some point? I would never play in Toronto. Fuck Toronto. Well, what the fuck, man? Are you Canadian? Are you Torontonian? How long have you been in this fucking league, man? Don't you know what you did was Bush League shit? Just like my coach said, no class. No fucking class, Tristan Thompson. No class. No class. Jamal Shead gets in your face at the end of the game. That little man, he has more class than you because you know what? He's a little guy. He got right up in your face, no fear. And then Scotty was there to back him up. And yeah, what are you jawing at us for? You think we have the right to be pissed at you for that? What are you going to say back to Scott? Huh? You can say, oh, I'll kick your ass, Scott. You don't talk to my fucking guy Barnes like that. Tristan Thompson with your bullshit at the end of the game. Mark Davis getting in there and keeping everybody separated. We're learning maybe it isn't a good idea for both teams to come out the same tunnel in Toronto. Maybe it isn't. I remember them going out the other way too. Man, Raptors, you're too nice to let the visitors come through our tunnel. Fucking reroute those motherfuckers the other way. Seriously. But yeah, Tristan, what the fuck, man? You've been in this league how long? You know you're not supposed to do Bush League shit like that. Pad your stats. That's what he wanted to do. He just want to pad his stats with 2 more points at the end there. Elongate the margin. How many times do we see Jamal Shead dribble out the game and take that turnover? Maybe that's part of it too. Tristan is like, I don't want to take a turnover, guys, for my stats. It's all selfish bullshit, Bush League, and not classy. And any respect I had for you, which was very little already, is absolutely diminished now. And you're a fucking villain and a piece of shit. And don't you bow up to Scotty Barnes, motherfucker. That's what I say to you, Tristan Thompson. Don't you bow up to Scotty Barnes. And y'all think because of your record that you could disrespect the Toronto Raptors franchise in our home arena like that? Just, who cares? It's the Raptors. That's how you acting, Tristan Thompson. That's how you're acting. So fuck you, Tristan Thompson. I can't believe you're from Toronto the way you disrespect your home team, your hometown. Fuck you, Tristan Thompson. And you go on that list with Goran Dragic at this point, boy. Yeah, at this point, you're there with him as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I can't believe this shit. I can't believe this shit. This happens in sports. Disrespectful things. There's a code of ethics. And even Mark Davis was explaining to Tristan about what he did was not right. Mark Davis knows. He gets the code because he's a ref. He understands. He sees how things go in NBA games. So, yeah, Tristan, you should know better, too. You've been in this league over 10 years. And that was Bush League, unclassy shit. And I love Darko's fire about it. He's not standing for it either. In some ways, when these kind of incidents happen, you see on your team who really is standing for you. And Scotty, boy, he stands for Toronto. Oh, yeah, he does. And anybody who's worried about Scotty wanting to leave our team, well, look at what he's willing to do for us, standing like that. Guys that don't care about the team, they walk to the tunnel and they don't care that Tristan Thompson did that. That's what I'm saying. And the fact that Jamal Shed and a lot of the other Raptors were coming over to see what's up. RJ Barrett. Yeah. Yeah. It's so stupid. Why'd you do that, man? We didn't need that kind of fracas. It's disrespectful to your city and our team. And fuck you, man. You're not a Torontonian. Are you even a Canadian citizen anymore? Tristan Thompson. Piece of garbage, man. Mike's saying, I think he sees we're going to be a big rival to Cleveland when they're going to win it all. He threw down the gauntlet, in my opinion. I don't think that's what that is. I think that's selfish as fuck. I think that was totally for himself. It's not even for Cleveland. I'll bet you Kenny Atkinson might be saying, why'd you do that? Seriously. There may be people on his own team that disagree with him doing that. Seriously. And they say, man, don't do that. You don't want anybody to do this to us. Why would you do that to them? I'm just saying, I don't think it was as popular as you think with his own teammates. Seriously. It's just totally unclassy. He shows the character that he is. He's a piece of garbage, man. And it's so crazy. I don't think it's about Gauntlet because that motherfucker ain't going to be around when we start doing our rise up. It's coming soon. I can see Tristan being done after this year. He's washed up. I'm actually surprised he's still in the league right now, guys. I was like, holy crap, Tristan Thompson's still on Cleveland? That motherfucker should have probably retired 2 years ago. Seriously. Smith saying it's not wise, in my opinion. That's not wise. It was unclassy, and the response from our guys was exactly right. And I love that they weren't just like roll over and, yeah, let's just take it. We're the lowly Raptors. No, they stood with pride for our city and our court. And that's the stuff. That's why a lot of Raptors fans should love Darko. Look at that dude's passion and on how he stands on this kind of stuff. Seriously. Look how he stands on it. Nako's saying, no Yak makes uphill battle. RJ was pretty great. Yeah, I thought RJ was fantastic, Gerald. He was the only guy who was really carrying his weight yesterday. And I appreciate that by him. And Yak, yeah, that's a loss right there. In some ways, I'm amazed we beat the Sixers without Jakob. Seriously. Because our record without Jakob is 0-0 something, but now it's 1 and something. But just the one win against the Sixers a couple nights ago without Jakob. That's the only game we won without him. It's crazy. Mike's saying Scott already showed that stuff fuels him. He already burned Matt Bonner's hot take this week already. Yeah, he's listening. And there are things that are feeding his fire. And that's fantastic. This is the thing. Scotty's smart, man. When he came into the league as a rookie, I saw him as an old school jukebox. He could do moves like Bird and Magic on the court, and I'll be like, man, he's like old school jukebox. He's doing magic out there. He's doing magic. He can do magic. But you know what? I think he's really thinking about the mind of Jordan. I think he really is thinking about the mind of Bryant because Bryant is his idol. He is his absolute favorite player ever. It's Kobe Bryant. And in some ways, who Kobe Bryant is and the way he carried himself, Scotty's trying to mimic that to a degree. Seriously. Ultimate competitor, high standard, demanding, accountable for himself and trying to do better, but also accountable for trying to get his teammates to rise up and play better around him. This is all stuff that Kobe Bean Bryant was for the Lakers. And in some ways, I like this. There's not as many leaders and franchise faces that are in this mold like Kobe and Jordan, like Scotty is right now. A lot of these guys don't care enough, and they're kind of casual. They get the money. They're kind of their edge is dulled. You know, I don't think Jason Tatum's doing this in Boston, right? You know, who's doing this? Is Donovan Mitchell this kind of leader for Cleveland, like we saw last night? No, that's what I'm saying. This is special. This is very special. And Scotty, in some ways, is showing very Bryant and Jordan kind of leadership qualities right now. Some of it's not very nice. Some of it's very high standard. And some of it can be very mean to his teammates. So he's got to balance that. Find the right mix of it, Scott. I think you're doing it is very, very good. And I fully endorse it. But I think you're going to need to be very understanding of egos and also not piss off any of your teammates by going off on them too much. Okay? I'm just going to say that because you don't want to make people look stupid. And in some ways, you kind of yelled at Grady last night in a way that was a little toxic. Let's just put it that way. Let's keep going. Uh, Blackhawks saying that's all the action Tristan gets these days. So desperate to touch the court. Yeah, he is pathetic, man. He really is. Like him and Drake have become villains now. Toronto villains, guys from Toronto, but they're absolutely villains and jackasses. You know, Drake, you're a jackass. Tristan, you're a jackass. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Mike's saying the Cavs got added to Scotty's list of revenge. Nick's on there with their tough guys show this season too. Yeah, Cat showboating. Yeah, and in some ways, Scotty got that revenge against the Sixers 2 nights ago, and that was sweet. That was sweet. This is going to happen. You're right, Mike. This is a collection of list of people we're going to remember. And Tristan, well, you're on that list now. You're on that list. Randolph's here. Blessings, beloved Raptors freaks, most informative gang. No matter the season, be willing to adjust and adapt by making all necessary changes, and you will have good results. Thank you for worrying about me yesterday, guys, about the snowstorm. It has come down, and it's crazy out there. There's so much snow out there that came down last night. But I parked the truck at the end of the driveway, so I don't have to shovel too much to get to the road. So hopefully I'll be able to get away this morning to go to Adriana's and see her today. That's what I'm planning on doing today. But I don't normally drive too much. I'm very happy just staying in my cabin and just hibernating. But so I wasn't out on the road at all during the storm last night. So I was very safe. But I appreciate y'all worrying about me. Yeah, the season is snow. That's the season, Randolph. I'm adjusting to it. That's for sure. Blessings to Randolph Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. And thank you once again, Randolph. I hope you saw what I said earlier. I really do say this out of the bottom of my heart. You guys, in some ways, have been huge leaders to me on the down low from being here every day. And the ways that you guys are is rubbing off on me. I'm not going to lie. Trevor J., you guys really are a huge influence on me, Randolph and Trevor. I'm not going to lie. You really are. You really, really are. And I appreciate you so much. Nako saying BI was offered $160 million 4-year by the Pels. So wait, that's $40 million too. So you got paid the same thing, except it's a 3-year deal with us, which is shorter. So yeah. In some ways, he knew he wasn't going anywhere in Pelicans, and like he said, he needed a change of scenery, and he's excited about that. Also a key word in his press conference yesterday is he liked coming here and being around guys that are trying hard and listening to the coach. Those are tells right there on the Pelicans, right there. Think about that. It's nice to be somewhere where the guys are trying hard and they listen to the coach. That's the difference between the Raptors and the Pelicans right there. It's like, well, I can get paid $40 million a year to stay here in this situation, or I can get paid $40 million a year to go to Canada and be in a situation where the guys are trying and listen to their coach. Okay, I'll take the $40 million in Canada. That's the decision making right there. Right there. Fiercely saying, morning, fam, and happy Thursday. Lex, I won't share anything during games in order not to disrupt the chat. I just responded to the post that was made about BI and how happy he is about being a Raptor. Fiercely, I love you, MJ. You're awesome. And you know what? You're one of the people that influences me too. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, Fiercely shared something with me that was kind of disturbing in the middle of the game last night and totally distracted me from watching the game. I was annoyed. In some ways, the thing she sent me was hearsay from somebody who said they were at the press conference, and some of the stuff they were saying was absolute horseshit. In fact, I could look at the stuff that they were saying and fact check it and realize that they were full of shit. I don't know who your source is, and you don't want to tell me who it is, but I'm not even going to repeat the things that they were saying because I don't think there's any truth to a lot of it. There may be some of it that's right, but I'm not going to speculate. And in some ways, the stuff that was said and that stuff that was sent to you is toxic. And it has no good help for the Raptors. So I'm going to ignore it. I'm going to say fiercely, do not trust that source that sent you that information. And if they send you more, don't send it to me. I don't care what that person's saying because that person to me is not a legitimate source, even if they're claiming they're at OVO Center in the press or whatever. If you don't tell me exactly who it is, I can't say that they're a reliable source. If you told me, oh no, Alexi, it's Michael Grange that told me this stuff, then I'd be like, okay, then I'll have to analyze it a little bit more legitimately. But without you telling me the specific person that sent you those messages about our organization, I'm not going to even cover it on here because it's hearsay. It's absolute toxic crap, honestly. A lot of what it was. And I don't even want to tell everybody what it was because it was stupid. So either way, fiercely, I appreciate that. I don't mind getting this kind of stuff. But when the game's on, the Raptor Freak is very focused on the game. And that's it. I don't like anybody bugging me at that time. In some ways, going to the game, I don't like the people at the game bugging me while I'm trying to watch the game. So yeah, I'm very focused during the games, and partly it's because of doing the show and being able to talk about the game. Well, I have to very much watch it. And there was a period of the game where I completely was messed up with your rumors that you sent me and trying to fact check them. And I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this right now. I should be watching the game instead of researching whether Fiercey's claims are right. Not her claims, but the person that talked to her. I would say don't trust this person for Raptors information, just from what you shared with me, because there were very much inaccuracies that I pointed out immediately in what they said. All right, so let's keep going. I appreciate further consideration in the future, but that kind of stuff is great in off hours. You can send it to me after the stream, you know, stuff like that, and I'll look at it and you know, I'll try and see if there's merit to it. Because that's important in today's day and age of misinformation and disinformation. There's a lot of bullshit out there that's absolutely not true. Blackhawk saying Eric Curry has to be related to someone in MLSE, Bella Rogers. Why? Because he's still around? No, it's very simple what's going on with him, Neil. He's a wonderkind. He's a very, very passionate, hardworking person that does a good job. It's just he's not a good coach. You know, Eric Curry started with the team on a whim. He studied water dynamics and a PhD. He was a scientist. He was into data, but he wasn't into basketball. He took a job with the Raptors on a whim and just kind of came in. But Masai loves him. That's who it is. It's not a family member. It's Masai. Masai believes in Eric Curry like he believes in Teresa Resch, like he believes in Bobby Webster, like he believes in Darko Rajakovic. He knows he's a high quality, hardworking person that has value that adds to our team. Now, the value that Eric Curry adds to our team has morphed over the years. You got to understand, Eric came in as a video guy and just did all kinds of odd jobs in different places around the Raptors organization pretty much since Masai showed up. Eric Curry has been working for us for about 10 years, guys. It's just that he was on lower levels and worked his way up through the organization. He's excelled at a lot of the things he's done for the Raptors, not the 905 coaching, but everything else. And in some ways, that was always the plan. When guys go to coach the 905, they come back and they rejoin the Raptors coaching staff. That's always been the case. Jama did the same thing when he did it. Patrick Mutombo, same thing. Eric Curry, same thing. Now, his strength is in the analytics. He is our analytics guy. He's the guy who's getting all the numbers together and figuring it out. So him being around on the team right now is absolutely useful. And he's one of the best in the league, I guess, at this point. That we highly value him. So it's not any family member. It's Masai. Masai loves him because he sees his work ethic. He sees his passion. And I'm very happy Eric's still around us. I'm not, I can say two things at the same time. He's a horrible 905 coach, but he's a fantastic assistant coach for data and helping. You know, one of the jobs he's doing right now is checking to see if the challenge should be called. He's the one with the computer looking down at it and telling him, yeah, go do the challenge real quick. Vin Bagnani's done it too at times in the season. But yeah, Eric Curry's absolutely a useful person in an organization. I'm glad he's still here myself. But I get it. I get why you think that. But just so you know, that person is actually Masai. It's not a family member. It's not even related to anybody. It's literally Ujiri. Fiercely saying Tristan finally saw an opportunity to score, so he took it low, but laugh out loud. But jokes aside, quite disrespectful and lack of sportsmanship. The Cavs indeed very good. Kenny Atkinson unlocking them. Yeah, I mean, they were already kind of moving in that direction under Bickerstaff. They, you know, this is kind of like Casey and Nurse. You know, JB Bickerstaff built up the Cavs to a certain point with Mobley, Allen, and Mitchell and Garland. But now Kenny Atkinson is good. His little wrinkle on it, and it's very effective. It's doing a really good job. Atkinson is a great coach. But let's not get it twisted. Some of this process of making this happen, this unlocking that you're saying, it started with Bickerstaff before, and they're just adding more graduating levels on top of it. Yeah, I'm not standing up for Tristan in any kind of way. You cannot say that he finally saw an opportunity to score. He had a basket already. It's not like he had a goose egg. He had a basket already. He didn't need that last dunk. I cannot give any defense to him in any kind of way. Fiercely saying this year it's all about development and rebuilding. I would say watch out for the Raptors next year. I say watch out for them now still. Let's see who's available on a given night. And, well, you may get a Raptors you need to very much watch out for. Seriously, I'm not for waving the white flag for the rest of the season. I really am not. I want these guys to try and win out. And Brandon Ingram is manipulated for how he returns to help us not win. Well, that's their choice. That's their choice. No timetable for return. They're saying that Darko's saying they're going to check him every 2 weeks and see how it is. Well, Brandon sounds like he's anxious to get out there from the press conference. I mean, how wouldn't he not be? He's getting to see the Raptors in these cool games recently on this road trip and seeing them against Oklahoma City, Houston, and Philadelphia over the last weekend. He really saw the effort up close as a teammate from inside and on the bench and how they're talking and how they're gelling. And he's excited. You could tell he's excited because it's a totally different field than New Orleans. It's a totally different field than the Lakers. And it's kind of a cool. It's got to be. He's like, I'm with my people now. These are nerds on basketball, and they really do want the same things that I want. When values align like that, it's a very powerful thing. It's the kind of thing that makes a friendship like DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry happen. So I would think that there's a weird balance going on with Brandon inside of, all right, I want to come back as soon as possible because this looks fun and I'm itching to play because I'm a competitor and I love basketball and I love being out there. And boy, do these new teammates of mine look fun to play with organization's goals of what they're supposed to do with their win-losses and the timetabling of his ankle injury. So there's going to be a weird balance there. It's got to have to be figured out. I think that it's true that he won't play for us until March. I think that that is true. I think that that's true. But he could be in there pretty quickly in March. But, it may be also kind of a revolving door like last year where guys are taking different turns of sitting out. RJ and Emmanuel had to miss time last year because of bereavement. And, there was different people kind of going in and out of the lineup like a revolving door. So there could very well be a period of time for the rest of the season where Brandon is out there. But who knows? Maybe Emmanuel's not available or RJ. Scotty's going to have to play pretty much for the rest of the season, even if he's hurt, if he wants any postseason consideration for awards. And that's been fantastic. That rule is working. The 65-game rule is working with Scotty Barnes this season. He missed so many games earlier in the season. Don't expect Scott to sit a whole lot by the end of the year. He's going to play pretty much through the end of the season. Watch, because he can't afford to miss many more games. And he wants to have a one or two that he has left just in case. He's going to come and suit up every single night. Watch. So I could see it that way. We'll have to see how it goes with Brandon. I'm pretty sure he's going to play by the end of the year. There was a tell. He did say, I expect to play this year. He did say that at some point in one of the interviews. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff. Let's see. Mike saying, in my opinion, Eric Curry is good at simplifying the analytics to players, and they can understand what the numbers are saying so the player can adjust. Yeah, he has value. I just think his personality is just not demonstrative enough to handle a coach job. You have to have a certain level of gaining respect. And I just found that it's really outwardly hard to see how people will respect him as a head coach, whether it's his teammates, whether it's the referees, I don't know. I mean, his players, that's what I'm saying. In some ways, I never got that. I know that maybe he could be a little harsh or tough, but really, how is he going to come down on people or put the fear of God in people? It's like, come on, guys, do better than this. Okay, coach. Okay. Now, Andrew Jones, the size of a power forward in the NBA, is coming out and saying, you guys need to be playing better. Yeah, you're going to listen to him more than mousy little Eric Curry. And I think that was the biggest difference. In some ways, coaches have to be a little bit alpha and aggressive and a little bit feisty. Darko's got that small dog mentality. Yeah, you piss him off, he's going to come at you, and he's going to be feisty. Nick Nurse has a presence around him that's a little bit off-putting and a little intimidating. I'm just saying, you have to have that kind of stuff to be a very good coach, to demand respect. And I felt like Eric Curry just didn't demand respect. And that was his biggest failing as a coach, is it's just tough. It's tough to gain that respect from nowhere as an analyst and a guy who went to school for a PhD in water dynamics. If you're an NBA Hall of Famer, you're an all-star, you're a guy who actually played in the league, it's a lot easier to gain that respect from the players. I'm just saying. G saying apparently it was Jamal Shed who went at Tristan first. What a rookie. He's tough. Well, he knows the code. Jamal Shed knows the code. Everybody knows the code. The code's in high school and college too, this code. That's why it's showing up in the pros is so bush league and unclassy. That's what I'm saying. This code's actually at all levels. Whether people respect it or not shows how professional they are. And Tristan Thompson, wow, how unprofessional you is what I'm going to say. Trevor's saying the Sixers lost again. to the Brooklyn Nets last night. Paul George, 2 points in 37 minutes, and Joel and Maxey didn't play last night. Wow, so Maxey sat out last night. Maybe he is on the down low hurt, and that's why he was so poor against us. And it was a back-to-back for them also, and Brooklyn beat them. Yeah, we're sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic Division, and in some ways, some people are really feeding the fire of like, well, we need to just stay down there and get a top 5 pick. Well, let's just play it out. I'm a fan for winning, but it is winning if we get a top 5 pick, right? That's what I'm saying. We can't be upset about anything right now, Raptors fans. Let it all happen the way it's supposed to, and just go with the flow. We winning when we losing. We winning when we winning. So what's to get upset about this season, y'all? We got Brandon Ingram coming. Well, we should be celebrating. We should be so happy right now, Raptors Nation. We really should, really should. Nago saying, as long as the games are competitive, last night's game wasn't terrible considering we went on a run for a few times. Well, this is the thing, and this happens. The development lesson last night is, hello, young Raptor rookies and Grady Dick and Oshai Abaji. Well, this is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Y'all played them 3 times already this year and lost every time. One of the games was more competitive, and you actually were close to the end of it. This one, you got blown out in the first quarter. And well, Strus shooting like that and them getting such a crazy lead, it's demoralizing. In some ways, that was a game of development and learning about failure in the league and just how good the teams in the league can be. You go from the night and day of the Sixers and their dysfunction and their not connectedness and all that kind of stuff to the very clockwork organization and excellence of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, that's the NBA. There's a team that's in a bad place, a dumpster fire in the middle of the court with Bozo and Maxey on the down low hurt. And then you have the excellence of a Cavs team and honestly did not want to go to the All-Star break because they're rolling so well and absolutely playing at the top of their game. They looked the best that they looked all season long. And I'm going to say this, the first game of the season, they looked really, really good last night. And it's really that they're just honing their craft. They're getting more and more comfortable, and they're doing levels upon levels of connection. And that gets that just beautiful game that they're playing, that they played in the first quarter. They were absolutely perfect in the first quarter last night. And in some ways, our young rookies need to be shook by that and see that there's levels to things. There's the level of seeing the Sixers as a dumpster fire. And then there's the level of seeing the Cavs at the creme de la creme, absolutely best kind of things going on with them. And that's perspective. That's given to them. That's, you know what? You're going to get in a game sometimes where you get absolutely blown out right away. How do you react to it, youngsters? How do you handle yourself? Do you put your nose to the ground and you start just grinding and doing all the right things still, even though you're down by 30 all of a sudden? That's what you do. That's what you do. If you're losing like that, that's the lesson for those guys last night. You got losing like that, well, start doing the right thing in every little instant moment on the court, and hopefully that'll add up to turning the tide a little bit. You got to start somewhere. You don't get overwhelmed and roll over and wave the white flag and say, yeah, we're just done for the rest of the game. Go ahead and blow us out by 50 or 60. No, you continue to fight. You get out there and you try and match up with them the best you can with what you got and just compete. And that's what the Raptors did last night. That's a tough thing to do when you're so overwhelmed at the beginning of the game. And they were shook. Seriously. I said this in the chat last night. It's like the Raptors got shook by the Cavs' excellence last night. And that's just the damn truth. It's not a diss on them. They're a young core. And these kind of things need to be development lessons for them. You know, there's a lesson in the Sixers game. Y'all can play to a certain level with each other together against a team that's not playing as together or getting after it. You can beat them. It doesn't matter if they have Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But if you're going to play a team like a game last night that's absolutely playing so well, well, that's it. This is the NBA life. You're going to have different teams on different nights doing different things. And that's how it goes. Nago's saying, yeah, I read that one. Blackhawks saying Curry needs to simplify challenges when you can't get that right. Well, in some ways, if you want to just blame Eric Curry for things, you go ahead. For the 2 years of 905, yeah, I'll blame him for that. But I don't want to blame him right now. In some ways, the challenge calls and the winning of challenge calls, I'm going to figure that this is what it is. It has more to do with the teams that's challenging sometimes. Like some of the teams that have really good challenge records, like the Knicks, is because it's the Knicks. And the team gets preferential treatment by the office because they want to help the Knicks. The Raptors are not a team that they want to help. So a lot of our challenges are not being fabricated to come out successful. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't look at challenge wins and losses and hold it against Eric Curry. I really wouldn't. Sometimes you have to factor in the player being like a liar about whether they fouled him or not. That's one thing we've been talking a lot about as well. The players ask for challenges all the time. And well, is it the player's fault if they're wrong and they don't get the successful challenge? Yeah, because they're the one who initiated. So we can't just say that about Eric. And once again, I'll say the refs will fabricate whichever way they want to do it with the help of the replay center. Oh yeah, no, the Raptors don't win this challenge no matter what. Just make up this bullshit. The Knicks win the challenge. They'll do that. Seriously. It's a high level way to manipulate the game. And it's a whole show too. It's crazy. Yeah. Trevor's saying Masai was at the 905 game yesterday. Yeah. And so was our friend Kimberly, Giants of Africa. Yeah. In some ways, they're really closely monitoring Ulrich. I think that in some ways they were there because of Shamshay and especially because of the turnaround for him between the Sixers game to the 11 a.m. game. And they very much wanted to see him up close and how he would react to such a challenge of playing in an NBA game that night before and playing in a G League game in the morning right after with hardly any turnaround. So I'm pretty sure that's why he was there, was because of Ulrich Shamshay. Yeah, Blackhawks saying Jamal is a pit bull. He's awesome. He's going to get so much better. And I'm proud of him. And man, I want you to stay here a long time, bro. Don't try and get out of here to go back to the States. I feel like I get those vibes from you that you may want to do that at some point. Let's honor your Raptors thing. And you standing for us last night, well, that shows your heart's with us. I love that. Good job, Jamal. Yeah, Mike saying Curry is a decent assistant, more of a specialist coach. Exactly. I mean, they wanted to put somebody in there at some point. They wanted to try it out. It could very well be that, like I said, Eric Curry is a very hard worker and he does a really good job in what he's doing. And he got the reward of being that coach by Masai saying, you know what, you've done so good, Eric, and everything I've given you to do, let's keep pushing it and see where your ceiling is. Well, he hit his head on his ceiling. He hit his head on his ceiling when you all let him be the head coach of the Raptors 905 for 2 years. He did hit his head on his ceiling. I haven't talked about Eric Curry that much recently, obviously, but we're talking about him today. Naka saying, honestly, I want to see Shamshay play more of his NBA games. More NBA reps couldn't hurt. Yeah, he's going to do this. He's going to get more reps with the NBA. That's all. They've talked about that for sure. That's just going to happen. It's the natural thing that happens at the end of the year, especially when G League's over and he's up on the main squad and there's no G League games going on. He's going to play a lot at the end of the year. You'll see that. G saying, Shamshay's personality is coming out. He might be a menace, trash talking and pointing to out of bounds line for the refs. Yes, that was another thing that was a little saucy yesterday. Shamshay got a technical from the bench yesterday, guys. He wasn't even in the game. There was a Cleveland charged player that came over near the bench and was out of bounds, and Shamshay talked trash to him, and he said something out of cup, and the guy turned around and got mad, and the refs called the tech on Ulrich. There's been a couple of these little incidents recently where we are seeing more of his personality. Maybe he's getting a little more comfortable. Maybe we're seeing the competitiveness and the fire in him in certain ways. But yeah, that was interesting, him getting that technical from the bench. That was really weird. I was like, wait, what happened? Ulrich Shamshay just got a technical for talking trash from the bench in the 905 game last. Wow, that was pretty crazy, man. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, it was pretty crazy he did that, G, wasn't it? Blackhawks saying Shamshay will get more NBA time, but the G League is instrumental for his growth. Yeah, he honestly, I'm telling you, and I argued with this guy a little bit in the G League chat yesterday. He's saying that O-Rob was worse than Shamshay in the Philly game, and that's not true. Orlando Robinson had a better game in that game than Shamshay. Shamshay didn't score any points, and O-Rob did. And in some ways, O-Rob did a better job against Embiid. I'm not saying that Shamshay was bad. It's just that there's levels to this. And the experience that he has in the NBA, I don't know if he's totally ready to go head-to-head with Joel Embiid the other night. He did okay. He's got to get thrown in the deep end at some point. And, well, that happened the other day. Yeah, let's see. He's coming more comfortable in skin. For sure. Gerald saying, I can only remember him playing one other NBA game. I remember Ulrich doing no. I think he could get a few more reps. But, yeah, G League should be the focus. Well, he's played this is 8 games now in the NBA. He's played in 8 games. Now, most of those games are garbage time coming in for like a minute or two at the end of the game. And that's the difference between this one is he actually got a rotational shift in the middle of the game when it was competitive and we won. That's totally different than the games he was in before. He was always just at the end of the game coming in for garbage time. And that was his NBA experience up until this Philadelphia game this week. So, yeah, there's a little bit of action. Maybe there's extended garbage time where he gets like 10 minutes because we're so blown out and he's playing like the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. you see that. But that's not rotation time in the game when it's competitive like it was with Philadelphia. And that's the difference in levels of learning and what you can get from the competition. Trevor's saying at 905 Arena, lots of space behind the hoop. They should fill it with more sitting. Well, they didn't have the tables out there yesterday for the school day game, Trevor, that they normally do. They normally have those VIP tables that Gubstown Clink gets for season tables, and they cleared them at one end of the court. So that you normally is seating there, and it's usually round tables that you can rent and sit at that end of the court. They just didn't have them there. I noticed that too. But normally there's tables at both ends, and they fill the whole thing. So I get what you're saying, but yesterday was weird. I think it was because it was a school game and they didn't put him out. So Derps is saying BI3 is very soft spoken. You know, they asked him straight up, do you like the nickname Notorious BI3 in the press conference? And he said he hadn't heard it. He's like, oh, Notorious BI3. I like it. It's okay. So he gave the okay for that nickname. And well, Matt Devlin proceeded to use it on the broadcast last night. Notorious BI3, Notorious BI3. And our concerns about whether it would be stepping on legalities with Notorious BIG's family, I don't think we have to worry about that if Matt Devlin's freely putting it out on the air and it's no big deal. I think that there's no copyright on Notorious BI3. And that and if Brandon likes it, that's his nickname. Devlin is the one who makes the nicknames, guys. We may come up with ideas and throw them towards the broadcast, but Devlin's the one who makes them official because they are his call. RJ kidding me? Well, if you got good stuff, he'll put it on the broadcast. And well, Notorious BI3 seems to be a winner. And that will be. I still have I think that Kingdom of the North will be a side one too. And there may be some of his old ones that are still coming around, like Slender Man and stuff like that. But we'll see. But officially, Notorious BI3 has been adopted by Brandon and Matt Devlin. And those are the people that matter the most when it comes to the nickname. Yeah, the nickname is Notorious BI3. It's official. Nako's saying, great movie, Uncut Gems. Seen it in theaters, but theater experience is best theater experience I've ever had. Okay. I don't want to talk about the best theater experience I've ever had because it's not safe for work. How about that? Oh, all right. G's saying, seems like he approves the name. Yeah, he does. He likes it, G. That's very, very good. Nako's saying there's some moments where a BI might come off a little aloof. Seemed like he was. It's weird, man. Obviously, he's a stoner. I have no problem with that. When he comes to the games, he's clear-eyed. He just has a sleepy eyes, like Eric Floyd. He's just a sleepy face. Sometimes he's a little sleepy looking. But, don't get it twisted. This guy's going to figure it out. I'm very excited to see how things go. And we got to just get going. He's got to get healthy, and we'll see it. Everything's looking great so far. Stargate saying, shaking my head. Guys on the basketball team, you can't have every player do the exact things and having the same exact skill sets. That's counterproductive. Can't have 15 RJ Barretts on the team. Yeah, the people who are saying that we need all the guys to start driving in the basket. Yeah, different guys can do different actions. I like the whole idea of RJ going down the left side of the lane and Scotty going down the right side of the lane. They talked to Brandon or RJ or Brandon about this yesterday. What about if you guys cohabitate the same spaces on the court where you take your shots? Well, do you understand space and time continuum? They don't have to be at the same space at the same time every possession, and they could use the same spots on the court. It's like, oh, you can't use this area of the court to score from because it's my area. It's Scotty's area. No, it's not like that. Every single time down the court, the same spot could be used by multiple different players. I don't get this. Why do people say, oh, no, you can't have Brandon and RJ on the same team? Because they use the same areas of the court. Well, there's only one ball. Maybe one possession, RJ can be in that area. One possession, Brandon can be in that area. It's so crazy. Yeah. Stargate saying, yeah, I saw that too, Lex. He was blasting Grady for not blocking out on a rebound. However, I don't have an issue with him holding people accountable. Grady needs to be better. No more babying. There's a balance to this. I'm with you on this, Stargate. I like that he's doing this. I'm not going to tell him not to do this. It's just that I want him to tone it down because it outwardly looks like he's lambasting him. And in some ways, it may look bad on TV. It'll look bad. In some ways, it looks like he's a bully. It looks like he's a little bit too much of a taskmaster and a little bit too overly like getting mad. That's what it is. He's got to rein in his emotion when he's directing it to his teammates and do it in a more effective, communicative way than such a emotional spectacle where it may look like he's actually really being abusive towards Grady. And that's what I'm worried about. Scott, there's a middle ground here. You're going over emotional with the refs already. And you're reining it in more and more with them. Well, you might have to have this learning curve with your teammates too. Let's just put it that way. I'm cool, completely with you guys. Accountability is great. Scott Karen is great because it's like MJ and Kobe. And that's the right direction to be. It's just I don't want him to be toxic with it. That's all. That's all. Nako saying I heard him yell elbows at Grady over the year more than once. Well, he was yelling eagle, eagle. It's eagle. He's yelling. He's eagle, eagle, eagle. It's not elbow. It's eagle, eagle. I think he maybe yells elbows sometimes too. But it was eagle at Shamshay, and Shamshay didn't figure it out in the game. It's like he didn't understand what Sky was yelling at him. He's like, Eagle, Eagle. And Shamshay's like standing there in the Philadelphia game, like, well, he's yelling at me. I don't know what to do. Well, they cleared it up because in the game yesterday for the Charge game, Shamshay came out and did Eagles finally. Like Shamshay, in some ways, when he plays defense, he's put his arms down. He's just standing out there and reacting and coming up and blocking shots like that. Well, Scotty's pissed at him. He's like yelling eagle at him. Eagle, eagle, which means put your hands up like this and guard like this. And usually you want to put your hands above your shoulders. Well, Shamshay yesterday, he started a new defensive stance in the G League game with his arms out, but they're down low like this. So he's doing eagles low like this. He's still not getting it exactly. Eagles up here, Shamshay. It's up here. You got to do it like this. And I like that you changed and adjusted just from the night before in Philadelphia to in Mississauga yesterday morning. You started doing Eagles in the G League game, but they're down here and you are spreading your arms out more. That's all Scott wanted when he was yelling at you. When he's yelling Eagle, Eagle, Eagle. You see how passionate Scotty gets yelling at him. He really wants them to do their job. And I've seen this on Twitch. When he plays 2K and his teammates, the way he berated Lloyd when they would play and he wouldn't do right things, he was so critical, constructively critical and bullying them. Seriously, he kicked guys off his team for not playing to a certain level of excellence. So in some ways, this is an action I've seen Scotty do like in his rookie year when he was playing 2K on Twitch all the time. He's the same way with his teammates on the video game as far as demanding them to do the things right on the game. I like that. In some ways, that's going to make him great and our team greater because of that excellent standard. But it also, he can be abusive. And he was on Twitch also. He was very mean to Lloyd at times. Very, very mean to him. So we got to figure out this balance, Scott. If you do have any ear to my channel and I can help guide you in little ways to help you with your career, this is my constructive criticism for today. You have the right place with your heart, but we got to understand how to be effective in communication with your teammates with respect. That's what I would say right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying Jamal is from Austin, Texas. Austin is one of the more tougher cities in Texas. It ain't Dallas or Houston. Dirk saying Luke Travers from Australia, not Mississippi. Yeah, he's got that Joe Dirt, that mustache and the mullet. He's got the business in the front and the party in the back. And yeah, I was like, who is that mulleted man? Who is this dude? Luke Travers. Luke Travers is who it is. Yeah. Stargate saying, well, Houston's pretty tough. And I should have said San Antonio. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Austin's like a weird city. It's a weird city. It's a little bit more of a left-leaning city in the state of Texas out of all of them. Yeah. Let's see. Stargate saying the hockey folks are not happy at all that Brandon's on the Raptors. They see it as a Kawhi type move. This is why the Canadian sports media is trying to downplay and gaslight it in negative takes. Totally correct. I believe this too. He's a threat. You know, in some ways, the manufactured exit of Vince Carter by Richard Petty and MLSE from making it all disorganized. Yeah, there may be some things they're trying to pull things apart, pull the strings. Well, that's why we got to run things like a tight ship and be glad that we've got Bobby and Masai doing what they do. And we'll just do things right, and we'll just be rebels, and they can be all mad and pissy, and we'll continue to be the most popular growing sports brand in the country of Canada, the Toronto Raptors. They can't do anything about it. The genie's out of the bottle. The Raptors are loved and protected. You know, it was actually interesting. Brandon talked about this in the press conference, that part of the reason why he's happy to be in Toronto is the global spotlight of being on the Raptors in the global world. He said in New Orleans, they don't get any press. And this is true. The Pelicans are not a team that gets spotlighted by the NBA in any kind of way. They don't get anything. And in some ways, him coming to Toronto is a huge upgrade to get more publicity, maybe not in the States, but globally. And in some ways, Brandon's thinking about business ventures globally with, China, Europe, and Canada. As far as what those opportunities are way better than being on the Pelicans. So in some ways, that's a very smart idea from him for that. Yeah. Randolph's saying, Lex, with the addition of Brandon, we just need a reliable 3-point sniper for next season, and we will be so competitive that the playoffs will be inevitable. I love that. I think that those guys are here. We just signed one to a contract, Jamison Battle and Grady Dick and Jacoby Walter. I mean, these guys are sharpshooters, and they're young, and they're going to get better and better. So I don't even know if we need to acquire one or an addition of one. No, we might already have these guys, and they just need to become more reliable than the guys that we already got. So they're coming. They're coming. Smith saying at Stargate, it is a Kawhi type move. They're not wrong. The difference is that BI is staying. They have to accept that basketball is more popular than hockey, more inclusive and accepting. Yes, yes, and yes. This is all exactly right. That's what I'm saying. I love this move so much. He's honest. He's on a great deal. It's very fair for him and for the team. And he's willing to work with flexibility to help us make our team better in different ways, like waiving his trade bonus thing that happened last week and stuff like that. He's a team player, and he wants to make our team better, not just with helping with that, but also with helping work with our players and get them better as young players. I'm going to be very curious to see the influence of Brandon Ingram on his rook, Jacoby, because he's designated this guy. Jacoby's got so much potential. Let's just think about that. What could Brandon Ingram teach Jacoby Walter about offense in the NBA? Think about that. Seriously, think about that right there. Yeah, they can be worried about this. It's here. It's now. And Brandon, unlike Kawhi, values being in Toronto, and he's ready to be here for long term. And that's fantastic. He really is. I don't know, guys. Let's think about this. You think about the most talented, greatest players to ever play for the Raptors. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard's one season with us is probably number one. And then Vince Carter, you may have to consider in some ways for some of the stuff around 2000 as being one of the greatest, most talented Raptors for sure. Maybe Chris Bosh somewhere in there, with some of these things he did. But Brandon, in some ways, could be up there. Scotty Barnes will be on that list up near the top too. DeMar, stuff like that. I'm wondering where Brandon will be in that hierarchy. Will he be like one of the top 3 greatest Raptors to ever play as far as productivity and his just overwhelmingly talented, like Kawhi and Vince before him? That's the thing right there. We got to see. Stargate saying what I hear is Vince's wife and kids, especially his eldest daughter, really, really like Toronto. So maybe his family has softened him up to Toronto. That's fantastic. Because honestly, I can tell why his family hated Toronto for a long time. Because honestly, yeah, we made his kids cry. And we yelled at his dad, all that kind of stuff. I get it, man. I mean, that's good. I mean, I want to heal this. I don't want to hate Vince Carter. I want to love Vince Carter because he's a huge, huge part of our history. And he really is important. It's just that I don't want to love somebody or idolize or look up to somebody or have somebody like that if they're going to mistreat me. I'm not a fool. I'm not somebody who's going to take abuse from someone when they're not showing the same kind of effort. This is kind of like what Trevor was talking about in the beginning of the stream. Is that, if he's not going to reciprocate the love and respect and honor that I want to give him as a Raptors alumni and legend, why should I do that for him is what I'm saying. So healing this and making it right where we can have a healthy relationship with Vince Carter as an alumni, and he's actually rooting for us. Like I said, we saying go Raptors. I've never, ever heard Vince Carter say that since he traded to New Jersey. I've never heard him say ever go Raptors or ever kind of fandom for our team. He was kind of like, oh, the Raptors won the championship. It's like, I was surprised by that. I didn't think it would ever happen. But I'm very happy it happened. And we built something here. And I was a part of it. It's stuff like that. Mike's saying VC was traveling to All-Star Weekend probably. I don't care where he was. It doesn't matter. In some ways, it's a hassle to get up to Canada. In some ways, I was promised more games with Vince broadcasting with Alvin and Matt. And I still haven't gotten many of them. I've only gotten like 2 or 3 this whole season. So I want more of those. I want him showing up for our broadcast with those guys. If it's stateside like it was in New York that one time, that's fine, whatever. But, in some ways, you need to come across the border, especially if your family's liking it up here. Seriously, Vince, do it. Yeah. The league probably has something planned around Vince for that All-Star Weekend. That might be true. The fact that the All-Star weekend is in Golden State again this time, 25 years later after Vince, that totally makes sense. That they will probably do some honoring of him league-wide for his excellence as being the greatest dunker in the history of the NBA. I can't hate him that much to say that that's what he is, because he is that. That's the damn truth. That's right. Stargate saying, I agree. It is a Kawhi type move. I'm just pointing out the hockey fans' reactions to everything. I love to see them salty. Hockey people in the country are akin to MAGA types in the U.S. I'm not willing to do that. That's not fair. There's a lot of really good hockey people, and that's a really big insult, man. And in some ways, you just made me realize I've got to ban that word from this chat. I don't want to put that word in the chat ever. So yeah, I want to stay away from mentioning that stuff down there because I have a proclivity to go off in tangents, and I really don't want to talk about that right now or that entity in this world right now because I have a lot to say about it, and I don't want the time on here to do it. I don't want to do it. That's right. I got 5 minutes till 2 hours. But your statement, I'm not going to agree with it. I think that hockey people are better people than MAGA people. That's not fair. That's not fair. Let's not do that. Hockey, I'm not anti-hockey as much as you guys think. I think that hockey is an important institution in the culture of Canada. I just think that there's enough room for everybody. I know that hockey has been detrimental to the Raptors in the past, but it's out of fear. And in some ways, I get it. But also at the same time, I don't want to be like encouraging everybody to hate hockey. I think that there's room to like hockey and be a Leafs fan and be a very positive Raptors fan also. So it's like we can't brand everybody who's hockey first as a bad person. There's a lot of good Raptors fans that are hockey first. And it's just different. I don't know. I know in the past I've railed against this and been very similar to Stargate. And I am still, but I want to try and find a middle and not be so anti-hockey because I don't feel like we should be. In some ways, it's not really a threat to the Raptors in some ways at this point. We can recognize the history and how it's held it down, but at this point, I don't think it's really a threat anymore. The genie's out of the bottle and they can't do a damn thing about it. The Raptors is going to be popular and grow no matter what, and basketball will too also, whether it's for Team Canada and excellence in Olympic and FIBA competition, or the Raptors or another franchise coming to Canada from the NBA, CBL growing, all that stuff's going to happen. Tempo. Hello, Toronto Tempo. It's going to happen. That's right. That's right. All right, let's see. Fiercely saying, wow, Lex, thank you for your vulnerability. One love, fam. I mean, I just had to be real and honest about some of the personal changes in my life recently. That, you guys know me really well. You guys have been around me for 3 years now. And I've been so open about my life and myself that you guys deserve to know about that change because you guys were a part of it. You guys are a part of it. Yeah. Mike's saying big ball stuff, Lex. Great stuff. God is good. Well, in some ways, look, I'm not a Christian that will be like, well, if you're a Muslim or you're Jewish or you're whatever you follow, that I look down on you. We're all equal. And my faith is not any greater than yours. Because in the end, we all believe in the same thing. It's a creator and somebody that's higher than us that we need to look to for guidance and check our egos. And whatever vehicle you drive to the same place as me, I'm not going to say it's the wrong way to go. And that's part of the problem with Christianity is some Christians are not able to allow for other religions to be the same kind of person as you. And I won't divide that way. So I may identify as a Christian, but in some ways I'm a Buddhist. In some ways I'm a Muslim. In some ways I can get behind some of the faith of Judaism. So I don't want to divide. I just want to say that I have a even deeper belief in the Creator at this point. And in some ways, my traditional way of going towards that is through Lutheran Church as a Christian. So, yeah, Stargate saying, Lex, I'm not here to tell you to do and how to live your life, but coming from a former born again Christian who is studying to be a pastor, make sure you fully understand Christianity before you commit. Well, this is the thing. I'm going to go about this organically, all autonomously on my own. I do not think I'm going to join a church. I do not think I'm going to regularly go to service. I'm not going to go somewhere and listen to someone talk because in some ways I'm aware enough and studious enough. And I have people in my life that influence me like the people here that I can get what I need for it to understand how to guide myself in a Christ-like way without actually going and doing this stuff. Some people say, whoa, Lex, whoa, I may not even open the Bible. I understand what Christian values are and what true goodness in this world is. And in some ways, understanding innately in your body what's good and evil is enough to guide me. I'm not going to fall into a cult. I'm not going to go join a flock. I'm going to be a sheep on my own, but I'm going to be one that very much thinks about this on a very deep theological level, but in the right way. I want to take all the best things about Christianity and utilize them for myself and get rid of all the bullshit that is absolutely not Christian. And that's the difference. I hope that makes it clear to you, Stargate. But I understand, and thank you for the warning. I think I understand what you're worried about, and I worry about this too. I go down the street and join a Baptist church down the street, and all of a sudden I turn into a different person. No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to be Lex, and I'm going to make my religion fit to some of the things that I'm doing in my life specifically. And it may not be exactly the same Christian life that some other people have, but the most important thing will be the basic values and morals of how you treat other people and how you look at other people. And there's no othering. There's no like, yeah, that person's poor. He deserves to starve in the street. No, no, no. That's not Christian. Christian is take them in, house them, feed them, clothe them, help them. And that's where I'm going to come from. The very basics of what Christianity is supposed to be in today's society. And part of what I'm trying to do is be an example for people like were like me before. And just say, look, I can be Christian and I can believe in the word of God and all the glory to God, like Jacoby Walter says all the time. That I can take leadership from my heroes, the Raptors, and understand that faith has made Emmanuel Quickly a very confident man that believes in God so much that he can do anything in his life. And in some ways, that's the stuff I want to embrace for myself. That's what I want to embrace right there. Yeah, yeah. He's saying, Stargate saying, trust me in this. I was baptized, accepting Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. Ask questions, ask questions. Well, in some ways, I get enough of the gist of it. I don't need to go back and read the Bible stories about like whatever's happening and stuff like that. I get the basic stuff because I've been around it enough. I did go to Sunday school when I was a little kid in Tallahassee for a brief period of time. And I have been around religion enough to understand that the tenements and the things that matter to it. So in some ways, I'm not going to be stringently with the church and just believe whatever a pastor says. No, 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 no. I'm going to do this independently for myself. And who knows? Maybe I will join a parish or something like that that fits kind of more where I'm at some point, just for community and connections. But I'm not seeking this out to desperation. And I'll do a lot of my work on my own. In some ways, I'm a Raptors freak monk living in the woods. And I'm in my monastery, and I'll do my monk-like studying and devotion on my own in silence by myself. And that's what I'm saying. All right, maybe a little bit too much of this right now. And let's see what Randolph's saying. This is a really good statement because I want to hear him say this, man. Seriously. Let's see. Okay, I skipped over too far. Here he's going. He's saying, Lex, I love that you're turning the corner, Lex, but remember, there are other faiths, and we all worship in our own way. It's not just one way. I mean that with respect. Yeah, and I hope I've said this since that comment there, and you feel good about that because I've been very clear about that just now, for sure, for sure. I honestly, you could trade whatever in there. I could go into a Muslim faith right now, but that's not a natural path for me in some ways from my family background. In some ways, if I'm going to recapture religiosity from my family, I would look to my mother's side in the Church of Canada with my grandmother's very, very devout faith. And then on my father's side, we're Lutheran. And there is a church in downtown Toronto where I was christened and that I can still go and visit. And maybe that would be the church that would be more likely that I would attend because there's other Estonians like me there. And it's a Lutheran church. And that's the faith that my grandparents and my father, when he was being raised, were raised on. So it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Stargate saying, not swaying you one way or the other, but do your research and ask questions. That's all I ask. Well, I'm going to treat this like how I treat doing the Raptors channel here and just be very eyes wide open. And if it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to go with it. So yeah, guys, don't worry about it. I'm not going to fall into a weird Christian cult all of a sudden, like U2 did in the early 80s when they made the album October. Adam Clayton was like, what are you guys doing, man? Y'all are in a little Christian cult all of a sudden. I can't do this, Bono. What are you doing, man? This is true. Then if you listen to the album October, the second album by U2 that came out in like 1982 or something like that, you'll hear what I'm talking about. Trevor's saying, Lex, we are proud of you, but God is more proud of you for making change. It's so crazy, Trevor. In my prayer that I've been doing recently, I've been feeling power coming into me from him. And it's really, really inspiring. And it's making me understand that I'm on the right path because I'm getting the signs. Even though I feel like things are so scary right now and messed up in this world, I find a real solace in knowing that there's a creator out there looking out for us in the end. And that's what I need right now. Randolph's saying, testify, my brother Lex. I call you my brother proudly. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all family in this world. It's only powers out there that want us divided that tell us we're not. We are all brothers and sisters. And even our brothers that are misguided by the MAGA right now are still our brothers deep down. It's just that they're brainwashed right now. And yeah, I appreciate that. Today, upon the confession of your faith and belief in the Lord Jesus Christ, you are saved. Welcome to the body of Christ. Hallelujah. Thank you, Randolph. That means a lot to me because you don't understand. I'm going to turn 50 this year. And I've never had Christ truly in my life until this year. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm finally ready. All right, man. Y'all can get me all emotional, man. Carlos saying, didn't see the game. How was Scotty yesterday? He shot better. He was pretty good, but it was not enough of him. In some ways, the aggression he showed going to the basket, I wish we had seen it again. But I understand also. I mean, there's Allen and Mobley down there. It's really hard to operate and get close to the basket and put that ball in. They tried. There were a lot of shots that Jonathan and Orlando and different people were getting down low, and they were good shots that should have went in, but they were bothered by the Cavs' frontline defense, and they just didn't go in. So there was a lot of that. Scotty had a mix. He wasn't exactly as good as he could have been, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad either. I wouldn't say he was bad. Stargate saying, now that I have knowledge of self and my life is far more happier, fearless and free than whenever I was born again. But this is your journey. All I ask is you learn aspects. Don't follow blindly. Well, I don't even know what I'm going to follow. I'm going to really just be myself and just kind of like think about what's right and wrong and do a little bit more belief in God. But yeah, I hope that I've elaborated on the subject enough for you, Stargate, to not worry about me in this aspect. But you know what the great thing is? You guys are checking in with me every day. You can see, and if there is something, well, come as a friend, maybe privately, not through the stream, and let me know if you see some aspect of what you're worried about at any point, just so you know. I would appreciate that. And I wouldn't be upset. Seriously, I'm that kind of guy. People can approach me with stuff that's uncomfortable, and I can be very mature about it and talk about it in an open way without taking it as an insult. So, yeah, I appreciate this. And you know what? If you want to be my safeguard on this, you see me most of the time when you're here. You could tell me if you see something weird going on with me. Derps is saying 0-10 if the Sixers won. Laugh out loud. He's saying revenge game is only reason Raptors are 1-9 without Pirtle and B being the best Raptor in that one win. He's saying B was the best Raptor. That's funny. Yeah, I'm so proud that they won without Pirtle. It's something I didn't think they could do, but they did it, and they did it against Nick in Philadelphia to boot. I gotta love that. Nins, you're awesome. Thanks for going to the game. All right, back to basketball. That's right. Let's get back to basketball. Derps is saying BI3 is the first player Darko in Toronto has attracted to Toronto. I don't know if that's true. I think the first player they attracted to Toronto was Dennis Schroeder. He was the first player specifically, but Brandon loves the coach. Apparently, Darko talked to Brandon for 2 hours when he initially got drafted, and he came and talked to him, and he won Brandon over right away. And he did this with Scotty too when he first got hired. I remember Darko wanted to go talk and meet with all the players, and he traveled around and went and met with everybody, Pascal, everybody we had at that time. Well, he spent 2 hours getting to know Brandon Ingram after we traded for him. And Brandon's given the 2 thumbs up, and the check on Darko's awesome. So that's just how Darko is, man. I don't know if Nick Nurse is doing stuff like that with his players. It's showing. It's showing right now, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Let's see. Carlos saying, I love how BI says he'll do whatever Darko wants and play off ball. Those were music for my ears. Yeah. The worries I had about the deal were, is he going to be selfish and he's going to take away from the team concept and the great thing that Darko's building here? And all the signs are saying, no, he gets it. He gets what we're doing. And he's going to be just as much off ball as on ball. And he'll be doing whatever it is within the system. He's a good soldier. He's going to take the orders from the coach, and he's going to go out there and play the way he wants to. He's not going to be selfish. He's not going to be a jackass. He's not going to be like trying to do stuff. In fact, I think that Brandon is very similar to Scotty and RJ on this front. And I was saying in the chat last night, we're about to have 3 guys that can average 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on the same team. Like all 3 of those guys can do this. They have in their careers 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. RJ started the 5 assists this year. He didn't do it before this year until this year. And Brandon's done this consistently in New Orleans in the last years 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's really good balance. And, those 5 assists for each Barrett, Barnes, and Brandon is part of sharing the ball and everybody getting involved. So what's not to like? Brandon's not going to come to the party and ruin it by making an ass of himself. He understands the vibe and he wants to fit in and do the same thing, just like what RJ and Scotty are doing. So I love that. That was one of my biggest fears, to be honest, when we made this deal. Is Brandon going to fit with getting involved with our team, with the concept and the philosophies of what Darko's trying to build here? And yes, he will. He said it. He said it. Well, I believe him. He's shown everything from other teams that he's played for that he's going to be like that. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Mike's saying if you build it, they will come. Laugh out loud. Messiah has a master plan at play. It's more my channel stuff, though. I love it, Mike. You go ahead and prognosticate and lay it all out for us and let us know what we have planned for us coming up from Messiah. I love that. I love that so much. Derp saying Wemby about to drop 90 at the All-Star game, embarrass everyone. That's wild, man. That's wild. I think it's so crazy. I've seen pictures of Dalton Connect. Now he's on the Lakers, and they're all acting like he's a ghost. That's horrible, man. He come back. He got traded. It got messed up. The Hornets, by the way, are fighting. They're arguing that they should still take this trade. They're mad about this. And Dalton, he's back on the Lakers, and he's sitting on the bench, and nobody's talking to him. They're acting like he doesn't exist because he shouldn't be there. What a weird experience for a rookie. And now he's going to the Rising Stars Challenge this weekend to represent the Lakers. Man, if I was him, I wouldn't be wearing Lakers gear. I'd be going there. I don't know. That's got to be one of the most awkward rookie years ever in the history of the NBA that Dalton Connect is going through right now. It's so crazy. It is so crazy. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited about Grady and the Rising Stars Challenge. His family's going with him, and they're going to make a whole thing in Oakland. Of course, Grady's parents are awesome. I love your parents, Grady. They're such supportive, awesome, great parents that raised such a good young man. And you deserve all the fun and accolades this weekend. And I know RJ talked to him about it, having gone to Rising Stars in the past. And yeah, just soak it up, Grady, and be a great representative for the Toronto Raptors franchise this weekend. I'll be watching and rooting for you and Team Wembayama. Yeah, Team, what is it? Team Hardaway, Team Tim Hardaway. Let's see how you guys do. The people are picking Mitch Richmond's team to be the favorite right now, though, from what I'm hearing. Yeah. Let's see. Randolph saying, Lex, watching the game last night, if our team was on their game like against the Sixers, we could have won. So the Cavs better have another gear for the playoffs. I don't know. Randolph, honestly, I'm going to be honest. Out of all the teams we've seen this year, all of the quarters we've seen, the best basketball quarter by any team this year was the first quarter last night against us by the Cavs. And that's including the games with Memphis and us and the Thunder and us. That was the best basketball performance by an opponent against the Raptors this whole entire season was the first quarter against the Raptors last night by the Cavs. I'm sorry. They were just top notch. They didn't make any mistakes. They came out for the jugular, and they did not relent. They came out and they stomped us right away. And there's no other way I can say that. I don't think we had a chance once that all happened. I mean, this is not like the Sixers. These two teams are night and day. There's one team that's absolutely dysfunctional, not connected, not going in the right direction any kind of way with Philadelphia, and this other team is serious. In fact, the Cavs, to me, on the Eastern side, are the favorites to get to the finals. It's not the Celtics. The Cavaliers might be the Eastern Conference team in the finals this year. I really do think that. Yeah. Derps is saying, I doubt OKC or Cavs do much past the second round in this playoffs. I don't know about that, guys. You guys are saying that, but I don't know about that, especially since the Cavs got DeAndre Hunter. That's just a luxury right there. That guy's an underrated defender, and he's really valuable because he can be slotted as a starter or as the bench. And in some ways, they made the Cavaliers more flexible by trading Yang and replacing him with DeAndre Hunter because Yang's really just another Strus. And Strus is way better, obviously, from what we saw last night. Now think about that. Last night they started Strus against us, but they're not doing that every game. It's a matchup choice. They wanted more 3-point shooting right off the bat to kill us. They put DeAndre Hunter on the bench, but he's been starting as the 5th starter with those All-Stars, and they've been nasty too. So there's a lot more flexibility and depth since the trade deadline for the Cavs, and I think they are deeper than most of the Eastern teams, guys. They're deeper than the Knicks. They're deeper than the Celtics, and those are the top 2 teams other than them that they need to worry about. So I don't know if you guys are right. I think the Cavaliers will get to the finals, and I don't think you guys are right. And partly it's because they are so anchored to defense and what they're doing so well right now. That's going to translate to the playoffs. That's going to translate. And then the 3-point shooting, they got plethora. They got Strus, and then Merrill's nasty too. And then Mitchell and Garland, they can chip in on threes like crazy all of a sudden. Evan Mobley hits threes sometimes too. So, this team is nasty. I hate the Cavs. I don't want to give respect to them. If Cavs fan, if you're listening to me because you want to hear what somebody else thinks about your team, you guys are badasses. And you guys are having an amazing team as this year. And it pains me to say that, but it's just the damn truth. I got to give credit to excellence. And Kenny Atkinson, the Cavs are the top team in the East. And the Oklahoma City Thunder are badasses too. And so are the Memphis Grizzlies. When I see good teams, I'll give them their credit. I will. That's right. Let's see. Derp saying Scotty hit the bag before each game. Probably works wonders. Punching bag. He's getting a punching in. Yeah, I don't know. Just not punching in the game, please. Derp saying instead of getting lost in social media during the break, perhaps read a book. A couple of authors, Gaber Mate, Alexander Lowen. You know what? During the break, I find other things to do. I've got all kinds of different projects I have to catch up on. There's stuff I do for work that I do too. So, there's different things that I got going. I've got to convert a whole bunch of episodes of the Kensington Variety VIP Club from Instagram to being able to be on YouTube. That may be what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Also, it's Valentine's weekend, and I'm going to Adriana's today, so I'm going to be spending some time with her, and I'll be busy around her for the weekend too, for a bit. So there's going to be things to do, and I have to get things done and ready for this channel. I got to write a trivia for Tuesday and understand what I'm going to do my content on every day. I've decided what I'm going to do tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and I'm going to do a Friday freak out, but it's going to be one of the most positive Friday freakouts you guys have ever seen, guys. You're going to see something really special tomorrow. So please tune into my channel tomorrow for a very, very special Friday freak out on Valentine's Day. You guys are going to see what I'm going to do tomorrow. You guys are going to be you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy what I do tomorrow. I have a brilliant idea. I honestly do. Fiercely saying Grady tomorrow at the Rising Stars. He's part of team Tim Hardaway, and it will be broadcast at 9 p.m. on TNT. That's right, guys. If you want to watch Grady at the All-Star break, it's tomorrow night. It's in the Friday night festivities when they have the Rising Stars Challenge. Now, if him and Victor and their team get through and win it, they will play on Sunday too against in the tournament with the All-Stars. So let's hope for that. Let's see Team Tim Hardaway win tomorrow night so they can play on Sunday, and we'll see Grady play on Sunday against the real All-Stars. That would be crazy. That'd be fun. Mike saying transformative stream all around. You went like 50-50, 100% field goal today. All right. 50 for 50. All right, Mike, you like what I was saying there? Listen, I'm not going to be the kind of person that's going to shove religion down people's throats. Don't get it twisted. It's just a very, very personal thing for me, and I don't want to tell anybody how to do things with their faith. I'm just sharing where I've come to with my own path, and that's all I'm doing right now. And Mike's saying Lex and Raptor Freak family are my stars today. Real talk. Well, that's what we do here, man. In this world that's becoming more and more cruel and more profit-driven and really, really disgusting, we need to find our humanity and our connection somewhere. And being real people and showing real emotion and telling our real stories is part of that. And because this gets dark, man. Some of the stuff that's coming up is really, really dark. I'm really, really scared for people in different parts of the world right now that it's very irresponsible, some of the decisions that are being made at the White House right now. And there's going to be a lot of suffering and pain and death and stuff that should have been avoided. But people are malignant narcissists and have absolute power right now. Well, that power needs to be checked. And we're going to figure out when that happens. Hopefully it happens sooner than later because so much damage is being done right now. And I don't even want to elaborate on what I'm saying right now. There's so much damage being done right now. It's disgusting. Let's see. Stargate saying, I don't hate hockey. I respect it as a sport, as I do all sports. What I don't respect is the overwhelming SWS alt-right mentality of hockey fans in this country that pushes the hate for basketball. Yeah, yeah, and in some ways, it's much like DEI hate. It's masked racism. It really is to a degree. I mean, I get it. Like some people are sports fans, but when they tell me they're big sports fans and they say, "Oh, I love baseball, I love hockey," but I don't like basketball. Well, those other two sports are a little bit more predominantly white, and in some ways, that's part of it. It's right there. Oh, I don't like basketball because it's a black sport. See, there's a lot of people that think that way, and sadly, up here in Canada, yeah, sadly. Monique is here. Superfan Mo went to the game, the Dunkiversary last night. I hope you got your Vince Carter shirt and you enjoyed the festivities. If not the game was not the right vibes. The game was. I wish the game had the vibes of the Philadelphia game, honestly, but it didn't. It had ugly vibes. Tristan Thompson showing his ass at the end of the game. Mo's saying, "Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Flat as an egg for the most part. Go Raptors." It's not even that they were flat as an egg. They were overmatched. And Cleveland took it to them right away and they got shell shocked. But they recovered well and they made it more of a competitive game for the last three quarters. But that first quarter was just a disaster. Absolute disaster. Carlos saying Hunter plugs the Cavs' weaknesses on the wing. Yeah, he's a big upgrade. Seriously. Like Jack said, you get the best player in the deal. That's good. And they did. They got the best player in that deal. DeAndre Hunter is a fantastic player. And he's going to really come through big for the Cavs. That move is like a Marc Gasol move when we made our championship. I'm telling you right now, they didn't need Marc Gasol, but they needed DeAndre Hunter. And that move may put the Cavs on their way to their next championship this year. Seriously, I don't want them to win. I'd rather the Thunder win. But I think that the Cavs are going to be in the finals, guys. Seriously. I think they'll beat the Celtics in the playoffs. They will. I think they will this year. I really do. Let's see. Smooth saying, I can't believe how bad Paul George has been. He's not totally healthy. You can tell. None of those guys are. And obviously, if Maxey sat out last night, he's hurt on the down low too. None of these guys are healthy on Philadelphia. It's like a mess, man. That team is such a mess. I don't know. Maybe Nick is just a toxic person at this point, and he can't coach as a head coach anymore because it's just fallen on deaf ears, and he just doesn't have it anymore. He got set up with a really nice set of a team in his first year, his rookie year, won the championship with Kawhi and Mark and Serge. But it was that group that he was with that made it easier for him. And ever since then, it's not been exactly right, even in the years after with the Raptors. And now in Philadelphia, you see how quickly it unraveled with that team and that roster. Things should be going way better with Sixers, but there's not. And well, he may be shown the door at the end of the day. Yeah. He may be shown the door at the end of the day. Fiercely saying, yes, Lex. Dalton's body language was off when he returned to LA after the trade, and he was disengaged on the sidelines. JJ Redick had a conversation with him to explain the business side of things. Yeah, and Dalton Connect said to him, I'm not ready to play for you guys because I'm going through a lot of things in my head, and I'm mentally not prepared to try and take the court and play for the Lakers. He's healthy. He could play, but in some ways he's mentally not there. Well, obviously, because they sold him out and like tried to trade him, and then he had to come back. That's so awkward. So awkward. And his teammates aren't helping because in some ways they're not there for him or interacting with him. He really is like a ghost on a team all of a sudden. That is so toxic and so messed up. And I feel for Dalton. I really do. I really do feel for Dalton. This has been the weirdest rookie year for him with the Bronny stuff at the beginning overshadowing him. And now this backfired trade. So crazy. If I was him, I'd tell him, I'm not playing for you guys until you move me. You've already shown your intention. And the Lakers, fuck you. I don't want to play for you guys. That's how I would be about it. JJ Redick can talk to him about the business. Well, Dalton Connect can say, yeah, well, the business inside my head is I'm mentally not prepared to play for the Lakers at this point because you guys are jackasses. Stargate saying there's a strong suspected white supremacist alt-right element to hockey in this country that is anti-basketball, and it encompasses all levels from media to big business to government. I'm not going to disagree with you, but I don't want to give power to it by acknowledging it right now. In some ways, I don't want to dance this line of politics right now. I really, really don't. I will share my religiosity today, but I very specifically said today, Lexi, you're not allowed to talk about any politics today, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. You're leaning me towards that, Stargate. Let's see. Fiercey saying Paul George had 2 points in 36 minutes yesterday. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. That is bad. Smooth saying, I was reading that the Cavs got DeAndre Hunter to stop the Raptors from getting him. Toronto was looking at Hunter or Ingram. I've also heard a rumor that we were seriously considering getting Durant again recently. That the Raptors, that Masai had been calling Phoenix and talking to them about what it would take to get Kevin Durant in a Toronto uniform. I don't know if that's true. If I had to choose between giving KD and BI right now, I'd totally get BI. So we got the right one. But there was a little bit of panic. Some people were saying there was an article or something that came out that said, oh, Western Conference executives freaked out when Masai Ujiri calls Phoenix for inquiry on Kevin Durant. Oh, it's so funny. I love that shit. I love that shit. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was one of the other offers. Well, I like Brandon over DeAndre also. That's a different level of talent right there. Keep up the great streams, Lex. Thank you, Mo. Your encouragement does really help, Mo, and I appreciate you so much. You're a huge help to my channel. You really are. Stargate saying, I was where you were about 20 years ago, Lex. Your emotional reaction is one that I myself had 20 years, so I can empathize with how you feel spiritually right now. It was me 20 years ago. Well, I don't want to get jaded on it, and I understand you've gone down your path and you've had your own experience. You know, my path is maybe a little bit opposite because you came to it so young and you found it in certain ways. In some ways, I have a built-in wisdom, a bullshit detector at my point in life that can maybe allow me to maybe not get into some of the stuff that may happen when you went born again. I'm not born again right now. That's not say that that's what I did today. I'm a dormant Christian that had been living my life just without any kind of emphasis or looking at that aspect of my life very seriously until now. And that's the difference right there. And once again, I want to say I'm not going to join a denomination unless it is at the Lutheran Church in downtown Toronto, which I'm technically already a member of because I'm on the board. Apparently, I'm on the board for that church to help vote on decisions with it already. So I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at. But I appreciate your warnings. And as I said, Stargate, you could be a little bit of a safety valve for me just in case you're observing anything weird. But honestly, you're not going to see Lex change too much over the next few years. Hopefully. Hopefully. I may get crazy because of dystopian bullshit that's happening, get really angry about that. But that's been Lex the whole time. And Logical saying it's true. The Cavs up the assets. They're dangerous, man. Honestly, when I'm watching these games, I'm not watching the teams as like I hate them first. I'm watching basketball and I'm analyzing whether good basketball is being played. And you know, as much as I hate the Celtics or the Sixers, if they're playing good basketball, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. And the Cavs were playing excellent basketball yesterday, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. That's just how it is. Cavs are very, very dangerous. All right, let me go through my tabs, and maybe we'll get out right around 2.5 hours, real quick. There are some things I want to cover real quick. There is an article on ESPN this morning talking about the player on each of the 30 teams that probably should have made the NBA All-Star, and they went through them, and I love where they put Scotty. First of all, the top tier had a legit case this season to make it, but they didn't. And LaMelo Ball's number one. Devin Booker's number two, and Domantas Sabonis is number three. I agree with all three of those, except for LaMelo, kind of. Their record's not good enough in Charlotte. He shouldn't have been that. But Domantas and Devin, sure, they might be the next guys as getting replacements if there are any, which there probably won't be. But yeah, I don't know about LaMelo. He shouldn't probably be that high. And Amin Thompson's on here, which I don't get this at all. They think that Amin Thompson's the next Rocket after Sengun that deserves All-Star. You guys are full of shit. Fred VanVleet, former All-Star, is the next guy who probably should be considered for All-Star on that Rockets team. So, yeah, you go ahead and put Amin Thompson over Fred. In some ways, this is a slight towards a former Raptor and a champion. I get that. But, yeah, I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have put an Amin on this sheet for that. Now, Scotty's the next one on the list, guys. The next category is called former All-Stars who fell short but should bounce back. Now, it's perfectly fine Scotty's not an All-Star this year. Our record is bad. And in some ways, he was hurt for part of the beginning of the season. That kind of hurt his stat totals also. But I get it. In some ways, he could have been injury replacement this year again, also, if somebody else got hurt. But yeah, I like that they're putting him in this category with Luka. Scotty's in the same category as Luka Doncic and Tyrese Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Maxey. Players that fell short but should bounce back. Now, where is he on that list? Number one. He's above Luka. So in some ways, ESPN sees in the hierarchy of things that Scotty was one of the players that got snubbed that should have made the team. They're saying Barnes is averaging nearly the same combination of stats that earned him an All-Star debut last season.
However, Barnes hasn't been nearly as accurate as a shooter, going from a promising 34% on threes to a career low 26.8. Add in Barnes missing 13 games, and he hasn't been in the mix. There you go. They gave the reasons. He's not shooting as well. We have a bad record, and he missed 13 games at the beginning of the season. Future chances, still at 23. Barnes is far from his peak as a player. If he can rediscover last season's shooting touch, Toronto with midseason acquisition Brandon Ingram should be competitive enough to put Barnes in all-star consideration regularly. There you go. I like that. ESPN in some ways is showing some respect for our guy. And look, there's other teams at the bottom of the standings that don't have a star like this listed like this. Sure, LaMelo's up there in some goofy-ass way, but it really, honestly, it shouldn't be like that. So, yeah, it's an interesting list. Jared Allen's on this list. It says wasn't in the cards for these former All-Stars. Yeah, Jared Allen doesn't deserve to be a fourth All-Star. No, Jimmy Butler, same thing. Rudy Gobert, no. Yeah, so interesting article by ESPN. Also, yesterday, they came out with their power rankings, and the Raptors slipped one spot from 25 to 26 for, I don't know why. Their reasoning for why they do this, it's not like we've had wins and losses recently, but y'all want to knock us down one spot for some reason, whatever. It's not like your power rankings mean anything, and you're not really taking into account the trade of Brandon Ingram until he shows up and plays and puts stuff on the court. We'll rise back up those power rankings again when we have our full team healthy. Trust me. All right, let's keep going. I'm very disappointed in Tristan Thompson. This is the thing I'm looking at right there. As far as him not being classy at the end of the game the other day, that was really, really poor judgment by him, and that annoys me. That very much annoys me. Let's see what else. We got a birthday today, guys. Happy birthday to former Raptor Chris Jeffries, guys. I don't know if you guys know Chris Jeffries. He was on the Raptors in 2002. He was drafted by the Lakers and traded to us for Tracy Murray and Kareem Rush. And he came and played for our team for a year. And, well, he wasn't that good. Let's just put it that way. But happy birthday to Chris Jeffries, former Raptor. He's 45 years old today. Let's do the classic card. Let's get that done now. All right, let's go. Let's see who we get. Reggie, you're here, right? All right, let's see. Oh, this one's not bad. Let's see if anybody gets this one easy. Talking about the Cavs and playing the Cavs a lot lately. Here we go. Who is this, guys? Who is this? If you can tell me who this player is, you get it. That's right. Who is this player? The former Cavalier. This guy's easy, actually. It's a very, very easy card. Somebody should get this right away. You don't have to be Smooth Brown Man to get this one. There you go. Stargate's going to get it. He spelled it a little weird, but I'll give it to him. It's Brad Daugherty. Daugherty, not Daughtry. Daugherty. Brad Daugherty was an all-star. And in fact, in the graphic they showed last night, he was the first, one of the first trios for the Cavs as all-stars was the year that him, Larry Nance, I believe, and Mark Price were all all-stars for the Cavs in the late 80s. So, yeah, he retired and joined Hot Rod Association. Wait, no, was it him? No, he got into race cars. Him and Larry Nance both got really into like racing, drag racing, and all kinds of other stuff. And he actually does TV for motorsports at this point, Brad Daugherty. Yeah, he's a broadcaster in sports for cars at this point as a former NBA player. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah, Brad Daugherty for Stargate, it's a 100-point card. He's pretty recognizable as a former All-Star. And it's kind of cool that we got him around these Cleveland games that we're playing right now. Daugherty. And that is Stargate today. Stargate, a different person getting it today. Just 100 points for Stargate on that one. All right, let's see. I'll read the last couple comments, and then we'll get to the next. We'll get out of here. Let's see. Stargate saying, however, I can see, if healthy, I see two teams who can match up with them well, if healthy, Milwaukee or Orlando. Again, if healthy, may not beat the Cavs, but will give them a hell of a fight. Yeah, I mean, I got to remember Milwaukee too. Milwaukee actually, in some ways, some of the moves they've done, they've been missing Giannis recently, and Lillard has stepped up and been scoring like he did in Portland. And not only that, Gary Trent has stepped up and been that 1-2 punch with Dame Lillard. So there's a little bit of like Portland Trailblazers a couple years ago revisited with Gary and Dame carrying the Milwaukee Bucks right now. They did a couple moves. I totally forgotten that Chris Middleton had played for them for 12 years and they traded him to Washington. That's horrible, man. They shouldn't have done that to Middleton, man. I'm really upset about that. I would much rather have Chris Middleton on my team than Kyle Kuzma. That may be the thing that messes up the Bucks. They got that guy on that team, and he's gonna mess up them up. I don't know. Let's keep going. North Carolina guy, Brad Doherty. Yeah, he was in UNC. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Stargate saying played with Jordan and Worthy at UNC. Was Doherty there at the exact same time? I don't think that's exactly true. Was he on the team with them? It was Sam Perkins who played with them at center. I think Doherty came in after them. It was Perkins, Worthy, and Jordan in the early 80s, and then Doherty came in a little bit after them. I want to say that. I'm trying to think of the timing. Yeah, good game. Good game. All right. Just to say they're calling Paul George Paul of Duty. Paul of Duty? Why would they call him that? Running back Philly? What? Stargate saying Chris Jeffries kind of played like Kyle Anderson a bit. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember Chris Jeffries too well. I remember him when he was on our team, kind of. I mean, I was working at the arena at that time, so he was in the building when I was there. So I do remember him because I was working there at the time. That's right. Y'all are laughing. All right, what's going on? What's so funny? All right, let's do the rundown real quick. The Raptors 905 beat the Cleveland Charge yesterday. They're gonna play them again tonight at 7:30. Y'all tune in. I'll be in the YouTube chat. I hope you'll join me. My stars of the game for the 905 win over the Charge were Jarrett Roden, Eugene Omeroy, Frank Kaminsky, Ulrich Shumshay, and Evan Gilliard. And yeah, they're going to play again tonight. And for the Raptors' loss to the Cavs last night, RJ Barrett was number one star. Jamison Battle and Oshai Abaji were my three stars for the Raptors in a loss against the Cavs. The referees for the G League game at 7:30 tonight, Cleveland Charge at Raptors 905, game 2 of a back-to-back. JD Rawls is the crew chief, number 80. Gina Catanzariti returns to referee this game also. And Bobby Bazant the third, he also is returning. They both ref the games yesterday at 11-2. So they're just doing another game right in a row. All right, yeah, Tristan Thompson, you have no class. Darko Rajakovic says, no class, very disrespectful. Tristan, you're excommunicated from Raptors and Toronto fans liking you, at least ones like us. Yeah, other people can be all about you and think it's funny. You think you're a troll or something like that. Those are losers. But yeah, Tristan, why you want to do this, man? You like being in Toronto? You like being Canadian? Why are you disrespecting us in our home court? You're from Toronto, you idiot. And how could you disrespect your own home court from your hometown like this? Obviously, it shows you don't value your Canadianism or your roots in Toronto if you're going to be disrespectful to the franchise that plays in your hometown. That's crazy, man. I still can't believe that shit. Me and Vince are neutral now again because he apologized for not coming to the game last night. That's a big deal. That's a big deal right there. Yeah, all right, there you go. We're done. Check your fantasy teams. Keep up with them. Well, I guess you got a little bit of a break, so don't worry about them right now. We'll get back to them next week. All right, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream on Thursday. I'll come back tomorrow with a Friday freak out and also a little bit of reacting to the G League game tonight. Yeah, we'll do a Friday freak out. And then Saturday will be a reaction to the Friday night game with Grady in the Rising Stars Challenge. And then Sunday will be a reaction to Saturday night with the dunks and the three-point shootout. And then Monday will be a reaction to the All-Star game on this channel. Tuesday will be Tuesday trivia. And then Wednesday will be Wow Wednesday of some sort. And then we'll get back to regular Raptors Freak programming with previews and reactions after the All-Star break then. So every day I'll be doing it. I'm not taking no break. I don't take a break during the summer. Why the hell would I take the All-Star break off? That's right. Y'all, thanks for hearing me out and hearing me testify today and share my personal story. I appreciate everybody. You guys seriously are my friends, and I love you guys so much. And you guys help me in all kinds of ways, and I hope that it goes both ways. Getting back to the beginning of the stream and what Trevor said, this is a two-way street. And I hope that I provide a service and a bonus and a positive in your life as much as y'all do for me, because you really do. I really, really love you guys, and I appreciate you. All the glory to God today. All the glory to God. I give it to him. And I appreciate the Creator for allowing me to wake up and have another day on this earth and to try and do good in this world. And thank you for y'all's guidance, and thank you to Lord above for looking out for all of us. I'm going to be praying to you all the time now. Seriously, I may not have done it in the past, but I'm going to do it now. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Every day, you can count on me. Lex is going to be here. That's right. That's right. He's doubling down. Yeah, awful take. He's doubling down on his move. Who are you talking about? Awful take. Who's doubling down on what? I don't know what's going on. All right, y'all. Best